Okay, I think we're live. I also think the stream back there, the string of lights fell down back there again. I'm gonna have to fix that at some point. Anyway, Peter, thank you so much for joining, being here a little bit early. Always glad to see familiar faces in here. Thomas W says, "Hey all, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here as well." I came out here to try to fix a couple of things before we jumped into this. My end screen was all jacked up last time, but I think I got that sorted. Aruna and Eric, both here. Thanks for stopping by to say hi. Appreciate seeing you guys here. Still working on coffee. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, but still working on coffee. It's been a week. Stephanie, I don't know. I know I got probably one of those right. I apologize, but thank you for joining. Appreciate you being here. Peter says you're keeping me company while on the treadmill, dude. Congratulations. That's actually really amazing. I wish I could get myself to do more of that. Oh, Steven. Okay. Wasn't sure, but thank you for the clarification. Genuinely appreciate that. I'm really bad with names most of the time and I like to get it right when I can. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out, let's see, can I fit? Yeah, that's fine, but sorry, I realized that, can I do this? There we go, fit, fill, okay. Sorry, just messing with something there. Coffee all day, 1 p.m. here, yeah. I can't do that anymore. If I have coffee much later than like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something, man, I don't sleep. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old or if my body just isn't dealing with coffee the same way anymore. But yeah, so I don't do coffee or caffeine really much after lunchtime, just because I like to sleep sometimes as well. Wuru, oh man, I'm not even gonna go any farther than that. Says, hey, I want that mug. Dude, I love this mug. I've had it for years. It's my Schrodinger mug. It's a dead kitty there with a little nuclear thing and then a live kitty over there. I've had it forever. Love it. Let's see. Here for a few minutes, then off to soccer. Well, I hope you have fun with that, Collins. Appreciate you stopping by at least for a little bit. Let's see, there was Zero Linux says, hey, DB Tech, just upgraded my GPU from a GTX 1080 to an RX 7800 XT. That is a big jump. Well done. And did a clean install Windows and LAN cache. That's awesome. No, that's really cool. I have to wonder, with an upgrade like that, if your CPU isn't now the bottleneck, if your CPU is as old as your GPU was, that's a flower pot with a handle, basically. Yeah, it really is. My wife and I both have this thing about like just these little like 12-ounce cups just irritate the crap out of both of us. So we've been slowly over the years replacing small coffee cups with like big coffee cups, because we really do drink a lot of coffee first thing in the morning. Oh, no, that's awesome. He says, I have a Ryzen 9 5950X, so nope, that you should be just fine then. That's very, very cool. Right, okay. Oops, geez. Let's do this real quick. Your 14-ounce mug or larger, definitely. Yeah, 100%. If it's a small mug, man, I don't even like to use that for tea. Let's see. Just wanted to share that your ghost movie helped me with setting up my wedding site for our upcoming wedding in July. Thanks for posting it. Oh, that's awesome. I'm really glad that helped. And also congratulations. Congrats on getting married. I hope it's for all of the right reasons. I know some people out there are getting married for the wrong reasons, and I hope you're not in that category. So, let's see. Am I on the right? Sorry, I'm multitasking here for what we're going to do at some point here in the video. Just trying to make sure that we're ready to go for that. So we're going to just clear that screen. Cool. So hopefully, I think Twitch is going to throw an ad. I really hate that Twitch throws an ad so early. It's like, no, I don't want to show pre-rolls, but here's an ad 6 minutes in. So I apologize if you're on Twitch and get an ad. It is just about to do that, I think, for about 3 minutes. I think you can avoid that by becoming a subscriber to my Twitch over there. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you can connect your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account and subscribe basically to one creator per month for free. And I get a couple of bucks, and you get. Twitch is about to. It says ad starting soon. Dude, didn't you become a channel member didn't you become a channel member last week in hopes that would alleviate the situation? Because if you're a channel member on YouTube, you shouldn't be doing that. Are you, I hate to even ask this, but are you signed in? Are you watching this stream on the same account with which you became a channel member? I know that's a dumb question, but I have to ask because I did troubleshooting and tech support for so long. Sometimes you have to start with the very, very dumb questions, and I apologize. It's the only thing I can think of. Okay, so that's so I don't understand what is going on with that. It doesn't make sense to me. That's so crazy. I wish I had an answer for that. But here's the thing, right? Hold on. I'm going to pull up an email, and I'm going to share this with you guys. It's an email that I got from YouTube recently, and I want to make sure that I've still got it. YouTube creators. Yeah. This is the one. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so I think everything here is safe to show. We're good. All right, so check this out. I got this email the other day, and it kind of pisses me off, if I'm being completely honest. It says your channel. Let's actually scroll back up here. You can see this. I don't care. New mid-roll ad features are coming, and upcoming changes. So your channel has at least one video with a manual mid-rolls ad slot. Yeah, all of my videos over 8 minutes have manual ad slots placed in them, just because I got to make a living, right? And I apologize to those who get bombarded with those. But usually, if a video is over 8 minutes, it's got at least one ad break in it. And most of my videos are 20 to 25 minutes, so they've got 3 or 4 ad breaks in them. I try to place them strategically when I can, but. Okay, continue to read about how new mid-roll ad features that will help you improve your ad opportunities today and prepare for upcoming changes to our ad systems in May. Radu, thanks for joining. Appreciate seeing you here. So it says, what are the new mid-roll ad features? We've introduced 2 new features to help you optimize your potential earnings and viewership by providing more information about your mid-roll slots and the ability to combine manual and automatic mid-roll slots. So basically what's going to happen, I've got ad rolls every 6 or 7 minutes. I feel like that's fair. That's less often than you're going to see on standard television. So what ends up happening with this is, it's enough of that. So what's going to end up happening here is they're going to just start dropping ads anywhere they possibly can in creator content. Because I've got mid-rolls turned on, they're taking that as a carte blanche opportunity to just drop an ad wherever they possibly can. And while people are figuring that out, my ad revenue may go up, which will be great for me and mine. It's going to make the viewing on YouTube awful, and they're doing it on purpose. They're trying to convince people to sign up for YouTube Premium, which I have. It's like $12, $13 a month. It's just for me. My wife doesn't care about ads, which I don't understand. But I pay like $13 a month, and I don't get ads when I watch YouTube. It gives me a little extra features and whatever, and I love it. It's like $13 a month, and it's great. Except that apparently you still get ads on live streams, and I don't understand that. I wish I had an answer for that. But they're trying to push more and more people to sign up for YouTube Premium by making the free experience worse. They're never going to say that, but that's what they're doing. Is they're trying to push everyone over to $12 or $13 a month, so that they've got a guaranteed monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. And of course, by doing that, by you paying $13 a month or whatever it was, is whatever, YouTube will have a monthly recurring revenue bump increase. That's a guaranteed monthly minimum revenue. And the creators that you watch will, in theory, make more money. So what they want to do is make the free version of that worse by cramming more ads down your throat. So you'll finally give up and sign up for premium. It's the same reason that they have switched to this new thing with Chrome where ad blockers aren't working the way they used to or aren't available at all. They want to make the viewing experience worse so that you will give them more money to make the ads go away. I don't know how they're going to do that in Chrome, but that's what they're doing. They're deliberately making the experience worse so that you will pay them money to make the experience better. And again, I get it, but it's still super, super frustrating. And that's super, I don't agree with what they're doing. I will finally give up on and install uBlock Origin. I don't know if that will work on Chrome because of the way they changed the manifest versioning in. I think it's the manifest versioning in Chrome will prevent ad blockers from working the same way. Like I've got AdGuard Home set up. I've got actually 2 instances of that for redundancy, but it's. Yeah, it's where we are in society. It's definitely, it's money over everything else across the board, whether it's social media, whether it's trying to get the news, whether it's scientific publications. It's money over everything else. And that, it just makes me feel icky. Like I don't like doing that. And so like I'm contributing because I'm a content creator and I'm putting out content to add to the general knowledge pool of the world, but as a side effect of that, my videos get ads. And I've seen people who aren't monetized or who have monetization turned off on certain videos saying that they're still getting ads. It's been a while since I've seen this, but they were still seeing ads on their content where no ads were turned on by them. And I don't know if maybe YouTube was just testing something or what, but at this point it's all money over absolutely everything else. And it's a sad state of affairs, in my opinion, that's where we are in the world these days. So I guess it is what it is. It's just, I guess, because this is the new normal, we better just get used to it. And I don't know what else to say about it other than it sucks. I'm sorry that you're getting ads on my content, but I still got to pay my bills and feed my family and keep a roof over my head and that sort of thing. So, yeah. So, couple of things that I wanted to do in this video. I got a DM overnight and about getting some tech support with something. And I don't want to call out this person specifically because they're not the first and they won't be the last. Don't just DM me on Discord for tech support, please. Especially if your first interaction on my server is DMing me, please don't do that. Like, we've got an entire tech help support forum, right? So that we can, as a collective, help answer questions and that sort of thing, and get the collective knowledge of everybody in the server to help answer questions. Like, I'm just a dude who makes videos in my garage and works from a laptop the rest of the time. Like, I don't know everything. In fact, there's a lot of things I don't know. So somebody said that they're having this issue with cut. Thank you, Mr. Tom. I appreciate you putting it that way. You're right. And I don't want to call anybody out because, again, this person isn't the first. They won't be the last. So please don't give them any crap. We've talked about it. We're good. but just please don't DM me unless I give you, unless we're chatting here, dude. Man, you're good. And Anil, you called yourself out there. So, or Aniel, Anil, you called yourself out on that. I wasn't trying to, but we're good, man. Don't even worry about it. So, but since you've called yourself out there, we're just going to run with it, right? So last week they opened up this issue with Cut. Cut, if you're not familiar, is a URL shortener that I made a video about and made a blog post about here a while back. And apparently they're having issues with this. And I think right here is the issue, right? So what I want to do, they gave me, they actually gave me this link, which is back to I need to fix that, back to here. Yeah. Okay. So I think this Docker Compose that's on my website, I think is bad. I think that's the issue here. If we come back over to, and I need to change how I'm putting these blog posts together, just because very often these Docker Compose files change, and people are still relying on these on my websites to get answers for this. Nighthawk, hey man, how's it going? Glad to have you here. So what we want to do, we want to take a look at this GitHub repository. Actually, before we do that, so we've got this that was open last week. Captain Ferris said, "Hey, I'm having the same issue, and keep getting this SQLite busy database is locked. When querying links." When querying the links table, try checking for locked processes, increasing timeouts and that sort of thing. So this is the Docker Compose that was used, and this is from more or less from my website. So what we're going to do is we're just going to redeploy this and see if we can reproduce the errors, or maybe see why, or see what the workaround for this is. So I'm going to copy this code. We're just going to clone the GitHub repository. Sometimes that is the better way to do things, for any number of reasons. So I'm going to come back over to here. Here is Captain Marcus says, hello, how are you tonight? I'm good. It's like 11:17 in the morning. Happy to have you here. Doing well though, thank you. Jan Nielsen is here. So let's clone this repository. There's really nothing in here. Let's just do RM. Let's just do everything there, right? We're good. So let's clear our screen and do a git clone. And like, look, yes, I'm in Proxmox here, but you can do this basically on any setup as long as you've got git installed on your setup. So I'm just going to clone this. It's going to then clone this into the cut folder. So I'm going to do a cd into cut. And then we're going to do an ls-a. And the reason we want to do an ls-a is so that we can see all of these files that start with a dot. If we just did an ls, we're not going to see those files. So let's do an ls-a just so we can see this. So so we've got so we've got a .example.env. What we want to do, there are a couple of ways we could do this. Is we could do like a cp.example and then do a .env. And this would still give us our backup in case we wanted to go back to the original if we messed something up, which I think is probably the best way to do that. The other thing that we could do is we could just do a move.example. Like this, but that would just rename that .example.env to .env. So I wanted to just copy it, just so we've still got a backup copy, just in case. So if I do an ls-a now, here we've got, where did it go? Right there, .env file right there. That's what we're looking for. Now, at this point, we've got 4 different Docker Compose files that we can take a look at. And if we come back over to here, this keeps talking about the SQLite database right here. Now, let's come back over to here. Let's take a look. Let's do a nano Docker SQLite, right? Let's just take a look at this. Okay, so we're gonna build this based on the Docker Compose, or sorry, the Docker file that's in this repository that we just cloned, right? So these 2 lines right here are just telling us we're gonna build from that file. Below that, we've got some volumes for the SQLite, and then we've got some custom stuff for modifying files and that sort of thing. Our file name is going to be this for the database. We've got Redis enabled true, Redis host, Redis, and Redis port 6379, port 3000. Depends on Redis condition being service started. Very standard stuff here. Redis image restart expose. All of this is very, very standard stuff. So we're going to do, actually, we're not going to save. Oops. Oh, damn it. We're going to cancel that. So we're just going to exit. Oops. Dang it. Right, because we didn't change anything there. So I'm just going to do a docker compose -f, docker compose, what would we call it? Which file was that? I'm so bad at this. We did this SQLite Redis. Right, and then we're going to say up -d. So just docker compose is the command, -f is so that we can deliberately declare this file name. If it was just docker-compose.yml, we wouldn't have to put this in, but because we want to use a very specific file name, we're going to do this -f. Then we're going to do up, and then we're going to do -d for basically detached mode so that it doesn't have to have this command window up all of the time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I already built the Docker compose, or the Docker file earlier, right? So now all of this should be up and going. If we come back over to containers, so we've got our server and we've got Redis. I do need to change one thing in here, and we're going to go to environment related. We're going to go to local, and we're just going to paste that in there. Now, containers. Now let's see if this works. Cool. So that seems to have worked. We're going to create an admin account. Not that any of this really matters because we're just doing this locally, right? Okay, it didn't like that. Let me try that again. Maybe I fat fingered it. It may require an HTTPS for this to work. But let's take a look at the logs and just see if it doesn't say anything. That's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. Okay, then let's take a look at something else because there may be another issue here. Let's do Docker compose. Let's just do down. Can I just do it this way? Yeah, I can do it that way. I wasn't sure if just using down would work. Resources still in use, network, that's fine. I don't care. So let's do this. We want to take a look at that .env file. So we're going to do nano.env. So the default domain is localhost on port 3000. That's not right. We want to change that. Right, and then our JWT secret. We're just gonna mash some keys. We've got a long string of characters here. Database client is better SQLite 3. That's fine. Database host. Now, this could also be an issue because the database host isn't local host in Docker anyway. If we come back to this Docker compose file, right, we're going to take a look at this Docker compose, the SQLite Redis file. Our database host name is actually Redis, not localhost. So I want to come back over to here. I want to change this to Redis. In fact, I lied. This says only if you're using MySQL, so that shouldn't matter then. I guess I lied. Saw the secret. Yeah, I'm going to hack you. Please have right at. I think all of this, trust proxy, that's all fine. This is all Redis enabled. Oh, well, Redis port and host. This is what I meant to do. Redis host enabled should be true because that's what we're using here. And the host is Redis. Again, we're just gonna do great. Cool. This should be fine then. So initially I thought maybe the issue was this database host up here, but if this is for Postgres or MySQL, then we don't need that. Our database client is better SQLite 3. Optional database client. Available clients for supported databases. Great. Other supported drivers you can use, but still have to manually install them with npm. Maybe that's the issue. So let's just do this. Let's just do SQLite 3 then. Let's take off this better equals SQLite 3 because we're not going to install all of that. And then let's, let's try that. Cool. And then that should fail. Yep, containers, cut server. There we go. Yeah, that's still dumb, but it is what it is, right? Let's do this. Yeah, it doesn't want to let me log in. That's really dumb. And it doesn't give me any logs in here, which is even dumber. Okay, so I'm not getting the same logs here, but I have to wonder. Let's do one more thing here before I give up. We're going to docker compose down, and I don't care if that network is still there. That's fine. We're going to clear our screen. So then the other thing I want to do, let's say we want to use the Postgres. No, I don't want to use Postgres. I don't like Postgres. Let's use the Maria database here, right? It's going to be a lot of the same stuff, but we're going to use this one instead. I'm just going to copy this so that I've got it for later. I'm going to do nano.env. This is all fine. Database client, in this case, is going to be MySQL. SQL. Even though we're using the Maria database, we're going to set this as MySQL because that's how those two play with each other. Database host, SQL, your database credentials, database host. In this case, should also be MariaDB. Okay. So we're going to do MariaDB. Database password. Again, I'm just going to mash some keys. There's our database password. It's all fine. Redis enabled true. Redis host port. Just want to see if there's anything else in here. This is all mail stuff. Enable rate limit. Report mail. Fine. And then custom. Fine. I just want to see here if there's anything else. Custom. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna call it custom 2, just because I want to make sure that I haven't accidentally used that. So we're gonna clear our screen, and then we're gonna do this sort of. We're just gonna change to this other Docker Compose file there, like so. So container, it's waiting. Server. Okay, so apparently it's gonna use the same Docker file from earlier that I built before we got on stream when I was doing some preliminary testing to see if there was anything going on there. It's waiting. I don't know why it's waiting. Oops. Oh, geez, that's not what I wanted. Come on, there we go. Let's see if there's anything going on over here. The Maria database is starting. Access denied for Postgres at localhost. That makes sense. Sort of. Nano.env. It's trying to say that my database, something about, username is Postgres. Interesting. Database user. That shouldn't matter. Only use this if you're using the Postgres or MySQL database. But it's saying that the access denied for user Postgres at local host, but it's not on local host. The database host is MariaDB, and we're getting that from right here. So that should be the correct host. Image name. If you create a database earlier than you tested on the same host, you need to, yeah, that could be it. You're right. So let's do this. Let's do exit, nano, docker compose, Maria database. So volumes, yeah, let's change this. Let's just do this. We've got a whole new everything. Actually, no. Let's do this. Okay, we're gonna go back over here to Portainer. We're going to kill all of this. We're just going to remove that. That's all fine. And then we're going to go to volumes, and we're going to remove all of the extraneous volumes in here, of which there are plenty. So we're just going to keep the Portainer volume. We're going to remove everything else. And then it all should work in theory. I do want to do this, though. For this volume, we're just going to call it custom. We're going to keep everything. We're just going to keep everything like this. And thank you, Nighthawk, for pointing that out to me. Let's try this. So it's creating our volumes. It's creating our containers for both Redis and Maria database and the server. Let's go back to our containers. All of this is doing what it needs to do. Okay, server exited. Okay. Access denied for user Postgres. Okay, well, let's take a look. Nano Docker. Is that the one that I did? Yeah. Username. Let's see. Redis enabled client, host, port. Interesting. It's not giving us... I feel like there's something wrong here because it's not giving us the username and password for the application up here. This shouldn't work. DB username. We're going to do DB password. And then I want to come down to here. And we're just going to do this. And then we're going to come back up. Oh, I also don't like that the Maria database root password is the same as the regular password. That's bad security. I have issues with that. So let's do this. But that's not why we're here. Oops. So I just added those variables there. That shouldn't matter. It shouldn't have fixed anything. But maybe it did. but maybe it did. Yeah, their Docker Compose apparently isn't. Okay. Oops. Email address dbtechreviews.com. Okay. Create admin account. All right. So David at dbtechreviews.com. Right. And it's redirecting. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it's the Docker Compose that's wrong. That's what it's got to be, right? There's no other option here because when I Docker Compose ML, yeah. So I had to add these two things here to the Docker Compose. So, man, let's do, instead of that, let's do this. Let's do cat. I just want to do this, right? We're going to come up to here, copy. And then we're going to do code.dbtech. And then this is going to be, this is going to be cut, compose, fix, plain text. This is actually YAML to create. All right. So hopefully Aniel 3000. Try cloning the GitHub repository like I showed here, and then replacing or modifying. You'll have to copy or move the example.env file to .env. You'll need to modify that to fit your needs. In fact, I guess I could do that as well. But then also you'll need to edit this MariaDB YAML file to also match what I just shared there. So let's do this also. Let's do cat.env. This is going to be dumb, but you'll still need to do a couple of changes in this. We're going to do this, and then we're going to come over to here and go back to there. Cut.env fix. Plain text is fine. Create. All right. So, Aniel, try those two files. You will still need to clone the GitHub repository in order for that to work, because it does require the Docker file that's in there up here so that you can build that. So give that a try. I'm not, like, I ran into that issue that you had as well. After I made the changes to the database, username and password in the server portion of the Docker Compose, everything seemed to work. So, so that's my thought. Try that. Hopefully that will work. Just kind of rewatch this section of the live stream as needed. Hopefully that will get you sorted, so you can get that up and running. Again, I also shared with you earlier the URL shortener that I've been using for like a decade, and it's great. I've been using it forever. I've migrated it from a hosted solution out in the wild to being on the rack behind me. It wasn't super straightforward, but I managed to get it done because I am persistent. So hopefully that fixes the issue you were having. So there you go. Let's see. Nick says, hi, I attempted to follow your Pangolin install. I'm having issues connecting my self-hosted Hoarder app. That one I can't help you with on live stream, unfortunately, for a couple of reasons. One is that I don't have it set up currently. I'm not currently using it anywhere on any of my stuff here or remotely. So I can't help you get that set up right now because it's very, very tedious to get that done. Especially trying to do it live. There are too many, passwords and secrets and all of this stuff that could go wrong if I was deploying this in real time, like I did in a previous live stream. It went fine, but I don't want to go that route again. So also the other thing, Nick, is that I haven't taken a look at the newer version. The version I made a video about was the beta version, technically, and they've added a lot of features since then. You might take a look at Jim's Garage. He recently did a video on Pangolin. Let's see, YouTube, Jim. In fact, I think just this morning, honestly, he released a video on it. That doesn't seem right. Is that right? That can't be right. Yeah, Pangolin. He released a video on Pangolin this morning, 5 hours ago. I'll just share it. You're on YouTube, so I will just share that over here on the YouTube. Take a look at his video. It might help. Again, my video was outdated like 2 weeks after I released it. So check that out. That might actually be a huge help to you. David says, is Pangolin like a self-hosted version of Cloudflare Tunnel? Basically, yeah. They recently added, like when I did the video on that, sorry, I'm having to force myself to slow down. I apologize. I'm taking a moment. When I did the video on Pangolin, it was still beta. You could only have like one domain in it. It was very limited because it was still in beta, right? They were trying to iron out all of the details before they started adding more features. And I wish more developers took that approach. I love that they did that. They're like, we're going to make sure all of this works, and then we'll start working on another feature and make sure all of that works, and then we'll start working on another feature, right? They're very, very diligent about making sure that things worked. So, Master 801 says, popped in. Yay, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. I'm using a Hostinger domain instead of the one you used. I don't think I've ever used Hostinger for anything. Web hosting official site, yeah. So, what is this? What's the topic recap? We're just going to hang out. We're going to chat, probably do some server maintenance stuff. I've got some questions I want to ask you guys. That's going to kind of affect how the rest of the part of the stream goes anyway. We did some tech support for Annual 3000, who was having issues with cut, the URL shortener. I was able to reproduce the issue, and then I was able to find a way around that because of the Docker Compose isn't great. There's some stuff in that Docker Compose that was wrong, but that's kind of where we are. Clarence Homelab says, hi, thanks for hanging out. Let's see what else we got here. Using hosting. Okay, we did that. We did that. We did that. Oh, sorry, developer MCT says, do you recommend Portainer, Rancher, Coolify, or something else for UI container management and config? I use a combination of Portainer and SSH. Terminal windows and Portainer are kind of my go-to. I've looked at Rancher, I've looked at Coolify. They're great products, but not for me. I don't like using them. They just don't fit the way I work. So I've been using Portainer for as long as I've been self-hosting, and then periodically, often I guess I should say, I use a terminal window like this to just do things differently, I guess. So developer MCT, there you go. That's what I use. URL shorteners, sure. Aruna says recommend the CLI. Yeah, it's preference, but I often use Portainer if I'm looking for the GUI. But Master 801 says URL shorteners. It depends on what you're doing. Like I very often, especially if I'm working with an advertiser, I want to know how many clicks my URL generated, or sorry, my video generated to their platform. And with the URL shortener, I can do that. It's no different than using a service like Bitly or something like that, other than it's self-hosted. And I agree, they absolutely can. Hold on, I missed something there. I don't like URL shorteners because they can log your IP. Yeah, no, that's true. Some of them absolutely can. And I can log into this because you can't see it. Here's the thing. Mine doesn't. Mine does not log IP addresses. I don't care about your IP address. That's not what I'm in it for. I'm definitely in it for the data. Just because I want to know how many clicks something has given. In fact, if I sort this the other way and do this and get rid of this, yeah, I can share this because no, I'm not even going to share it. It doesn't matter. But like I know that like I've generated. Well, I'll just share this, right? This doesn't matter. You can see an IP address right here. That's not my current IP address. These are all irrelevant at this point. But I can see that I generated 3,200 clicks to RackNerd for this one URL. And if I come into here, oh yeah, it just takes me to that cart, right? That's not what I meant to do, but if I do this, hold on, let me make sure that this is fine to share. It should be. Yeah, no, this is fine. So like for this particular thing, it shows me what my URL is. It shows me what their URL is. It shows me that in the last 24 hours, 14 people have used this URL, 63 in the last 7 days, and 263 in the last 30, and 3,200 all time. And it kind of breaks out the math for me and that sort of thing over the last 143 days. Like this is the information I care about. This and this. I like to see where my traffic's coming from, but I don't log IP addresses. I'm not even, it's possible that the URLs has that option. I just don't use it. I don't find it necessary. It's not what I'm in it for. So let's see. I know I missed some stuff up here. Yeah, and so like Master says, I found that out real quick in the past. Yeah, even if somebody sends me a Bitly link, Bitly, what I will do in those cases is I'll go to a service like this. I will take that Bitly URL and drop it in here, and it will expand the URL. So it will show me what the end result is. And then I will grab the URL from that, the actual full URL, and investigate from there. I never click a Bitly link. When I get an email from somebody, I never click it. I always do research on the URL before I click it, unless it's somebody I've been working with for a while. But anytime I get a new email from somebody, I never click the link. I always investigate that URL before I do anything with it. I'm relatively new to Linux. I'm a developer and trainer, and I've been working with Microsoft Tech for the last 26 years. Mostly I'm a developer. I have a co-stinger KVM 8, and I want to just, Home Assistant can run via Docker, VM, LXC, or standalone. Yeah, that is all true. This is, yep, I installed N8N or something. I can't get anything to run without, keep rebuilding. Interesting. Found it out, deleted my, container downloaded and hit run. Can you edit a short link? And yes, you can edit a short link in URLs. Yeah, like if we, again, none of this really matters. I'm gonna delete that though. Like if I needed to, I could just come in here and click edit. And then yeah, like right here is the short URL. The part that I can edit is right here. And then I can change that as I need to. In fact, I've done that several times for my RackNerd stuff, just because like their offering changed. I didn't want to change my URLs or my short URLs wherever I had put them on the internet. So I just edit things as I need to in here periodically. But yeah, you absolutely can in URLs. You should use a special Docker container for add-ons. You have to locate and use the yep. I agree. 80s interfaces that will have to do. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Power MCT changed counts. I wish I embraced Linux like 2 decades ago. Dude, I get that. I really do. In fact, I was chatting with somebody about this last night in Discord. Like I had Ubuntu set up on a laptop back in like 06, and that was fun. Like I really enjoyed it. I was not into tech back then, but I wanted to try. I wanted to try something different. So instead of, and I didn't have the ability or the know-how to get a free version of Windows. So I just went with a free operating system. I used Ubuntu and it was great. I learned a lot. And then I didn't touch it again for like years after that. I went back to Windows. But I think saying that it's crap these days is relative, right? For Ubuntu users, for people who are all in on Ubuntu, it's great. But there are so many different flavors of Linux out there that each one does something a little bit better than the other. And finding the right repository can be a nightmare. It can be daunting. Sorry, I realized I've got a scratch on my monitor. I do remember the Ubuntu CDs in the mail. When was Ubuntu Desktop released? 2004. Yeah, so Ubuntu released on October 20th of 2004, which means I was on like Ubuntu 2 at that point. So it's come a long way since then. If you want to talk about crap, go back 20 years. But yeah, like if you've got other needs, if you got a specialty, something like that, there are definitely other versions out there that are better depending on what your need is. Let's see. AI takes me in circles. AI can be a pain to get your head wrapped around. In fact, that's another thing I want to talk to you guys about. In fact, you know what? Screw it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put up a straw poll. I think this is the one I want. Create a poll. Yeah, there we go. You know what? Screw it. I'm not going to do that. Lately, I've been getting emails from people who want me to make videos about their product and or service. And a lot of those emails lately have been about different custom AI services. Let me close out some of this stuff. What is this? Don't care. Not this, not that, not that. Nope. Nope. I want this. Why won't you open? So one company reached out to me. Is this going to take me anywhere? Of course not. We're going to go there. And then, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up a couple of things here. What's this one? Global. That's not helpful. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what this is. You don't give me any information on that. So anyway, okay, let me do this. I keep getting emails from companies wanting me to promote AI services. The pay is whatever. I'm not super worried. In fact, this is the same. Anyway, so would you guys like to see me do more AI stuff? And if so, would you like it, or would it be at all beneficial if the AI was hosted somewhere else? Not self-hosted, but a third-party provider. So yes or no on AI? If yes, is hosted somewhere else okay? I guess is the question. Don't use AI. I need programmers these days rely on too much AI. Linux 96. Go to Weldon bookstores. Right. Okay. That'd be a no. No. Okay. People are saying. Yes, I'm getting mixed results. You guys are the worst. I'm kidding, of course. It would be an interesting topic. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Sorry. I was joking when I said you guys are the worst. Because I don't think that. I'm just giving you guys crap. Anyway. This is... Let me see if I can zoom in on this enough. So this particular one is about coding. About coding, like this one says, okay, here's some ideas, campaign ideas. Showcase the power of AI coding assistance to enhance developer productivity. This one says elevate your coding experience with an AI assistant, introducing AI coding assistant and its open source capabilities. This one is elevate your programming skills with AI tools, introduce the revolutionary impact of AI on coding practices. So I don't know. In fact, I talked to the person behind this via DM the other day, and I was like, I don't know. And then they apparently emailed me a different way for some reason. Yeah, so that's kind of how I was feeling about it. I'm getting a lot of no overall. Yeah, like using, because here's my conundrum with, especially with AI hosted on third-party stuff. And that's it. They want your data and the viewer's data. And I think that's part of what I was trying to get at. And thank you for kind of summing that up. The idea that we're going to be in there and going like, hey, look, I want to code this thing. What steps should I take and what would the code look like, right? Would be a very generic prompt for something like that. My concern with that is we don't know if they're collecting data. And again, I'm not picking on a specific AI platform here, right? It's an issue that I have because like we've got AI, the Deep Sea or whatever it was called from China, who basically stole all of their training data from OpenAI, who stole all of their training data from the general public. Like at what point are we not just pilfering data from somewhere else and just refining it farther? And that's kind of the issue that I take with it is if I go in here and I'm like, hey, build an app for this, how do I know they're not going to take that data and build a competing app? Right? Like that's kind of my conundrum with this is the data collection that they're going to do. Yeah, how about Meta pirating the books to train their ad? Yeah, they're just like, yeah, cost of doing business, here's $1 billion or whatever the fine was. And then they moved on because they knew that there was going to be a cost of doing business for that. What happens when you create something on their site and use their code for, right? And that's another really good point, Jamie. What happens when you create something on their site and use that code for your own project? Do they have a right to claim it against you, right? There's so many things that we don't know about the way AI is being treated in these particular arenas. And because, and this isn't even a political thing, this is just a statement that our politicians in the House and in Congress and DC just in general are so far behind the times when it comes to technology that they don't know what they don't know, and anything they don't know they're afraid of. This is on both sides of the aisle. I'm not picking sides here. and they're so far behind the times on creating laws that they want AI and these different organizations that are so new to self-regulate. And that is never going to go well. We don't have a group of people in there who are smart enough about these technologies to help write laws to keep the end user any kind of safe. And that scares me a little bit, because we don't know where that's going to go. We don't know what the repercussions are on these different platforms. And it's just a huge crapshoot, and I don't like to get into all of that. Like I use AI for certain things every once in a while, and I've talked about that in Discord as well. But like I'm like, hey, generate a video thumbnail for a live stream. In fact, I think that's what I did here on this live stream, just because you guys don't necessarily care about the thumbnail. If you know I'm doing a live stream, thankfully you're gonna come hang out with me because it's me and not because of the thumbnail. Like, I'm not super worried about the thumbnail for these live streams. I should be, I know, I'm not. Let's see. What happens? Yeah, okay. So Collins has a story for me later. That's interesting. I'm excited to hear about that. I haven't voted since I've become legal, so it shows I don't care about the platform. Look, I didn't vote for a long time. I didn't. I do now, but it almost seems to not matter, which is a terrible mindset to be in when it comes to voting. But if self-regulation was a thing, then the politicians would be out of a job, right? Do you have any videos or planning on creating any videos about clustering? I actually did a video a while back about a high availability Proxmox cluster, where I used 3 Zima boards. Zima board. Let me see if I can find it. Nope. Cluster. Yeah. Let's copy this link. So I made, look, and this video is old. I'm just going to share that in here. That's the video I did about setting up my first high availability cluster via Proxmox. It may be outdated. I don't know. But that's the video I did on clustering. At this point, I've got a single node with LXCs for all of my different services, just because it's how I roll these days. I feel like whatever you have made on a public platform, they can take it, and that's basically how it is. Like a lot of the AI training, or a lot of the companies who are creating these LLMs are just going out and scraping the entire internet with complete disregard for what's the word? Agreeing to do it, right? Like I don't agree to have my data collected anonymously to train your model. Like, if you want to use my data to train your model, you need to contact me, get my permission, and then pay me for that, right? Like, don't just steal my stuff to train your model to make money. If you want to use my stuff to train your model, you got to get my permission and pay me. Don't know that that's going to happen, but it's a nice thought, you know? So, Proxmox new data center manager thing will be interesting from a competition against VMware. Yeah, I agree. I know I read that quietly and quickly. Proxmox new data center manager thing will be interesting in the new competition against VMware. I actually made a video about that like the day it released. Center. Man, if I could type. Alpha. Yeah, this was the alpha. When was this? This was December 20th of 2024. And it did okay. It did 19,000 views, so that's cool. I only prefer offline AI stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I would love to have a way to have an open source AI that can bind together for self-hosted users, kind of like folding at home. Oh, so like a distributed GPU usage for AI is an interesting idea. Dude, I just saw that. Thomas W. says Elon just sold X to his own company that's doing AI to get training for free. I just saw that this morning. I'm blown away, although I'm not. A couple of years ago, I would have been blown away that didn't get held up by different organizations, but it is what it is. I'm in the circle that requires CPU only, but still not just scraping the net, but continuously scraping. Some server admins see thousands of requests per minute from AI bots, and they don't respect the robots.txt, right? Have you done anything with the new Home Assistant since the last stream? I have. I should actually make a follow-up video on that. I can show you my Home Assistant as it currently stands. I think everything there is safe to show you. Nope, that's the wrong subnet. This is fine. This is fine. All right. So, before we get into this, before I show you what I've got going on here, there's a bunch of you here who know my situation, who know what's going on, and there's going to be some new people here who don't. And I want to clarify something before we get into this. I've got a 16-year-old son who is very, very, very autistic. He is nonverbal. He needs assistance with literally every aspect of his life, from getting up in the morning and bathing himself, to getting his breakfast, to taking his meds, to picking TV shows. Every moment of his life needs to be, not every moment, every activity he does, and he needs assistance with. He went through about 14 months of just all-out violence, almost nonstop. Okay, I only say that because as I scroll through this first dashboard, there is a camera in his room. And that is because he was doing a lot of what's called SIB, or self-injurious behavior, that we needed to be able to monitor so that we would have records for his therapists, for the law if they needed it, for hospitals if they needed it. Like we needed this, and we still need this to make sure that he is safe. I'm not going to show you anything inappropriate here, but just know there is a camera in his bedroom, and there's a very, very specific reason. It's not to infringe on his privacy. It's not to infringe on his whatever, right? This is strictly for the sake of his safety and the safety of anyone else who may be in his room when he has a very, very violent meltdown. Now, I want to also counter that with, he's been really, really good for the last couple of months since we got him on a new med. So we don't have this up like on our screens and that sort of stuff as often. But just know that one of the cameras that you're going to see is going to be his bedroom. He's currently watching a movie in there, but I want to be very transparent about why there's a camera in his room. It's because he is nonverbal. He has a tendency for violence, and this is for his safety and the safety of others. There may come a point where we feel confident removing it, but for right now we don't. And his therapists have encouraged us to keep it there for the time being. So there is the caveat. Bathroom break. What do you mean bathroom break? Anyway, let's jump over to here. Oops, that's the wrong button. That's the button. Okay, so this is that. The chat's not showing up there. Oh, because I turned it off. I suck so hard, guys. I apologize. I had all of this stuff turned off here. I apologize, guys. I didn't realize that was all turned off until just now. Hopefully that will stay on. So anyway. Oh, are we coming through?
I'm trying to.
Oh, yay! It's tea time! Yay, thank you very much. Tea. So anyway, let's come back over to here. Desktop. This is because I haven't switched my main homepage on Home Assistant. This is what my this is what my homepage on Home Assistant looks like. I need to fix this. I've got one just for the cameras. I've got one for the living room. I'm not going to show you the cameras because that's just 4 camera screens. So in my living room, I've got basically 3 switches. These are all just like smart plugs that turn lights on and off. That's all these do, is I can toggle these lights on and off. I can also get information about the television from here with this living room dashboard. Master bedroom, very similar. I've got the weather there. We've got a plant light in the bedroom that's on from certain times. I can turn this on and off from here. Just a quick toggle, turn it on and off. Bedroom LEDs, same thing, turn it on and off. More information about the TV and our bedroom lights. Now, hold on. I've also got studio, which is where we are here. I can turn these on and off. I do have them backwards for me for some dumb reason. Whatever. Overhead light, like again, I can just turn all of this stuff on and off very, very easily. So I built out this dashboard. Energy, we can see the two smart plugs that I've got that actually register power usage here. If we go down here to settings and devices and services, here we can see all of the different devices and services that I have in here. One of the things that I ran into was Tuya being a pain in the butt, and with their no, it was Govee. Sorry, it was Govee I was having issues with. So I swapped out a bunch of Govee stuff for Tuya, and then I found out I could run local Tuya, which means I don't have to have the internet for certain things to work, which I love. And so this is kind of what I've got going on for my integrations. Again, I've got devices over here. All of this is working. I've got my Unify stuff built into this now. But then if we go to like automations and scenes here, so like, so like when I go into the bedroom at night, like my wife and I, like we just hang out and watch a couple of shows together, just kind of our time together to hang out and be together and have a quiet time and have a good time together. We'll watch TV, movies, whatever. It's kind of our wind down time before bed. So when I come in and turn on the television, the LED lights that we have around the top of our room come on at a very nice low level, but they're on. So at 8 o'clock, they dim to a certain point. And at 8:30, they dim even farther. So it's very, very faint, but there's still a little bit of light in the room. It's just how we roll, I know. Also, when the TV turns off, the LEDs turn off. So at 8:30 in the morning, the TV automatically turns off. We're not in the bedroom at that point, so it just turns off automatically at 8:30. Front porch LEDs off, on at sunset, on at sunset, off at sunrise. We've got the like LEDs on our front porch across the front of the house that we can change different times of the year for holidays and that sort of thing. Kids' TV turns off at 8:30 at night. He doesn't need to be watching TV after that. Plant light, the two plant lights that we have in the living room and bedroom turn on at 9 and off at 5. And then I've got these three right here for the studio. Behind me, right there, is an Aqara FP2 millimeter wave presence detector that I bought months and months ago. So when somebody comes in, as soon as it detects somebody, the overhead light turns on just automatically. Because it's dark when you pass through here to get to the backyard. If you're in here for more than 30 seconds, everything else in here turns on. But as soon as it detects that the room is empty, all the lights in here shut off. And that's basically it. Like I wanted to keep it kind of dumbed down and simple, just because last time with the previous version, it was so overblown and I tried so many things and everything was just starting to fall apart. So I rebuilt it in that last stream to the best of my ability in that moment, but then fixed it later after the fact, once I realized that I could run Tuya locally and completely get rid of Govee because their API calls were just not working for me no matter what I set them to. The polling rate originally was like 10 and I set it to 2 because my brain was backwards. And then I set it to 30 and then I set it to 60 and then I set it to 90. And every day I was getting, you've used your API limit or more than your API limit of 10,000 calls a day. And I just gave up. So, yeah, like a full node based share. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the XXAI thing. VRAM is the only way to go for AI. Agreed. How many are actual users using the same, right? It says, say bots, but how many of them are the same actual users using the same user agent? That's very possible. And it's hard to say if maybe they're using the same servers with the same IPs, and there's just so many different things. Buckle up, we're going into Home Assistant. Very, very, very briefly. That was it, man. Like I can toggle things on and off here, and that's all we need. Do a self-hosting stream for the latest newsletter. I might touch on that later. I don't know if I should do a self-hosting thing, just because I didn't really see a reason for you to interject that unless it was for a reason. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I feel your pain. My little sister is similar in that regard. She's a blue baby and has learning disabilities on top of health disabilities. That sucks, man. We need a producer for your live streams. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Was that a Turtles mug? Yeah, it absolutely is a Turtles mug. Hell yeah, man. Turtles mug. Yeah, this is another one of our big ones. Not quite as big, almost as big as my Schrodinger mug, but yeah, no, we're pretty nerdy around here. Is there not a cam of the coffee machine? There's not. There's not a cam of the coffee machine because when I make coffee, I do it in a French press or on an espresso machine. So no normal coffee maker for me. I don't even have one in the house anymore. Is it all local? Mostly local. I've got a couple of things that are still that still require internet access. Let's see, devices and services. To do that one I don't use. Like the weather stuff I need. I don't use that. Most everything is local except for the Tuya thing, because I had Tuya set up, and there's still a couple of things that don't work well with the Tuya local, but most everything else is pretty much local. Soccer update 2L14. Hell yeah, that's great. To the scheduler card and schedule integration so that you can transfer the automations to true schedules. Yeah, you should do that. That video that you posted about reflash your 2-year stuff at the ESP looks like a lot of work, but maybe necessary. Yeah, I've considered that. I've actually got this pack of Daybetter bulbs that are Tuya. Like it's got the little Tuya logo right there in the middle of the QR code. I thought about using a couple of those just to do some testing to see how if I can get that to work because I really do want a lot of this stuff to run locally. So. In that one also. Have you set up a Wake on LAN script yet? I have not. I have mine to say office on or to text me turned on. Yeah, I need to get I want to get a voice assistant working. But here's a kicker for you. Recently, so Alexa removed the option to not send your spoken stuff to the cloud. So my wife and I were talking about that the other day, and she's like, it's not going to be long until Google does the same thing. And I was like, I know, right? But there's this other option. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I was hoping that would work. Home sys NP. But I was like, hey, there's this other thing that we could look at doing at some point of this, which is the Home Assistant preview, the voice preview edition. And I showed it to her, and she's like, yeah, we should look at that. So like I've got the go-ahead to actually start getting these, which I'm super excited about. And once I do that, then in theory, I'll be able to tie that to my old Llama instance and start doing some voice stuff via that and AI to control the house. I'm going to love that. She's going to love that. It's going to be great. But we're not there yet. I haven't bought anything. Sadly, I'd rather mechanical over network. Awesome was a big Turtles fan as a kid. Dude, same. I really was. When I was a kid, I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles graphic novel. It wasn't a comic book so much as it was it was a thick, bound graphic novel. And I had it, my dad got it for me when I was 7, 6 or 7 anyway, and over the years I lost it. But then I managed to find a copy of it on eBay a couple of years ago, and I rebought it because I was such a big fan. I still remember like, under the blankets with the flashlight. I remember the smell of the new book. I remember all of that, and every time I see it, it kind of brings back that nostalgia of when I was little. Do you still use a dashboard for your home lab? Sorta. When I when I open up my browser window for the first time, I get this. And I can see like what's going on with Plex. I can see some of this stuff over here. I can see my my speed test stuff, my Uptime Kuma, Unify. Like this is basically it. But that's about all the farther I've gone with this. I edited some stuff recently. This was, of course, it's not gonna have me logged in. There, hopefully that'll log me in. Yeah. So if I come back and I show like let's say the last month, like, during all of this time, I thought I had my 10 gig connection set up from the front of the house to the back of the house, but then I found out, no, I had that 2.5 gig connection set up from the front of the house to the back of the house. And I was like, oh, well, let's switch that, because I got a 3 gig connection recently, symmetrical. So I was like, oh, well, let's fix that. And then the other day, my SFP Plus adapter thing, I don't have any back here. My SFP Plus to RJ45 adapter crapped out on me. And it got too hot, and my 10 gig side just shut down on my Unify switch out in the living room. And I fought with it for a while, and I was like, you know what? It's more important to have a consistent connection than it is to get the extra gig from the front to the back. So I've still got a 2 gig connection through the house. And I'm like a 2.5 gig, and I'm super happy with it. Like I was angry for a while. I was like, well, this is crap. Why doesn't this work? And I was like, wait, you've more than doubled your connection, and you got a consistent, like if we take a look the last week right here. Yeah, it was just 3 days ago when this happened, but like, it's still pretty consistent at 2.5 gigs. And is that 500 megs worth being angry about? Probably not. So yeah, but yeah, this is what I see when I prop up my browser for the first time. So there you go. Your wife gets cooler every day, dude, right? Dude, spousal approval is immensely huge. When I told her, like, hey, I can make our lives easier and more private, and she's like, cool, let's look into doing that. So, but yeah, Amazon has started to roll out the Alexa Plus. Yeah, and they're going to have cameras everywhere to keep an eye on you, to train, like, hey, find this video of this or that or the other. I watched some content about it the other day, and I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want my AI home assistant to have a camera to watch me. I don't like that at all. So, hey, home labbers, greetings. 1980s-ish. Yeah, well, for the Ninja Turtles, yeah, it was early to mid 80s. And, oh yeah, and the Alexa Plus is $20. Yeah, it's dumb. The best dashboard. My friend's mom growing up would enter sweepstakes to do that so often. She would win a lot of times. One of the tickets was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles event. And we got to meet the actor who played Donatello. That's awesome. I never got to do that. That's really cool. And got free pizza and met Chuck Norris. Holy crap. Wow. Sounds like you need a microfan on that SFP. I actually considered doing something like that. I don't know if I would like 3D print something to go on the front of the rack that would have like a 5-volt fan to just blow air on it constantly or what, but I've considered doing something like that. So yeah, that's that. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think, wow, we got caught up. Holy crap. We actually got caught up there. I didn't think that was going to happen. So let's bring it over to here just so I don't unintentionally show you something. Here soon, I'm going to be doing some content about the new Unify stuff that I've got. I've been working on another it's a sponsored video about TwinGate. I had it ready to go like Monday, and I'm waiting on approval. I think I got approval, but I gotta wait to get official approval through anyway. So I've been so waiting on that that I've been kind of not making other content because I thought it was going to get approved. I thought it was going to get approved earlier in the week, but their platform was having issues. So, whoa, jeez. But like, man, I can't. Let me just edit this out real quick. We're just going to delete that for right now because it doesn't matter. All right, so here I removed this camera, or I removed the camera from my kid's room just because. Here we go. So this is my backyard. I'm actually getting ready to start working on getting it cleaned up and ready. I got to get the pool going. I got to clean up the backyard in general, do some planting and that sort of thing. But it's super smooth. It's so fast. It's so good. This is the Unify AI Pro PoE camera, and I love this thing. It's got human detection, it's got vehicle detection, it's got sound detection. It's very cool, and it's just super easy to integrate. Like I've got this doorbell camera that does a lot of the same stuff, but like it's also got this, which is a package camera on there, so you can also see down here very close to the door. I kind of wish I didn't have this ledge here because they always put my packages behind this chair, which means it doesn't pick it up. But the Unify stuff, the cameras in here, just so good. Really happy with that. But yeah, here's the whole dashboard. Sorry, deliberately skipped over some stuff there. But yeah, like just that I can just, it's so fast to toggle things. It's not making a huge difference there, but like it's just so fast, and I absolutely love it. So, I have a box fan on the floor pointed at my rack to make sure I always have airflow. Yeah, I need to do something for that SFP Plus adapter thing. So here's the problem. So I actually think I've got a workaround for that. I genuinely think I've got a workaround for that. The problem that I have, if I do, let me Unify 2.5 GB PoE. Okay, so this is the one I've got. Yeah. Okay, so this I have. Where is it? This. Okay, I have this. This switch in my living room, right? One of the switches in my living room. And it's very nice. It's very cool. It has 8 2.5 gig PoE++ ports. It has a 10 gig SFP+++ port. And it has, and a gig. Sorry, it's got the RJ45 and the SFP Plus port for 10 gig, right? My 16 port PoE++ switch that's powering this is doing that. It's just powering this, but the only ports that I have from that can power this is 2.5 gig. And I was like, well, okay, then what I'll do is I'll just get a power supply for this that's 54 volts and however many amps to make 210 watts. Right? I'll just get this power adapter because it didn't come with it, and then I'll just run an SFP Plus from the 16 gig to the 10 gig, and everything will be fine. Everything will work great, and then I can run 10 gig from this back to the back of the house where we are here. The problem is this power supply is like $80 for this 210 watt power supply. It's $80, and I'm frustrated by that. Also, and the reason for that I think is this. If I do this and I do like BH photo, right? It's there, but it's so new that it's not available yet. I can't even order it from here. So I will probably just wait and get this eventually, and then switch everything around so that I've got so that the SFP stuff out there is SFP to SFP, because those adapters get so hot. But when you've just got a standard SFP cable that's got the SFP ports on either end, it's fine. These adapters get super hot for some reason. I don't know. So I will probably wait until I can get this, and then I'll swap everything around so that the 10 gig connection from the front of the house to the back of the house is RJ45, and I shouldn't have any more overheating issues. That's the solution I have in mind anyway, but I gotta wait to get that power adapter. I know I could order it from Unify. I just haven't yet. I wish Mini Forum would send you the new NAS that they have coming out. Dude, me too. I would love to have that. They're actually sending me some stuff here soon. I can show you. I can give you a preview on that. None of it's embargoed or anything, so I can show you what they're going to send me. Hopefully, they'll be sending it soon. Not this. This one. This one. They're going to send me. They're going to send me 2 devices. Yeah, this is what they're going to send me. So the first thing, they're going to send me a new mini PC because I have an idea for a project that I want to do. What they're going to send me is the Minis Forum UM880 Plus with the Ryzen 7 8845HS. There was another option that they could have sent me was the Intel version. It's like, no, everything else in my house except for my laptop is AMD. Let's just stick with that. So, and the only other advantage that one had over this, besides the NPU, which I still don't think is an advantage, is that it had 2.5 gig LAN ports instead of just 1. So it's whatever. This should be adequate for what I want to do. But this device, there's not a picture of the back of it. There it is. No, that's not it either. Here it is. So right here, we can see that it's got... darn it. Okay, so it's got an HDMI port, it's got a USB port, or USB 4 port, and a display port, so you can run 3 separate monitors on those 3 ports. But it's also got this Oculink port, and these are really cool, and I've always wanted to try one out. So they're also going to send me this, which is a GPU dock that connects to the mini PC via the Oculink port. So the plan is to use this mini PC with this GPU dock and the 2070 that's in my HL15 to replace my PC that's over here that we're streaming on right now. I've got one thing that I need to make sure will work on it before I can do that, but this will be a live stream with me setting all of this up. But I'm waiting on the hardware. It should hopefully ship today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Considering pulling fiber between my 2 network closets, that would be awesome. So it's true, they say once you go Unify, you never go back. I had Unify, and then I went to TP-Link, then I went to Amada, and now I'm back on Unify. So, maybe. What about the plus ports? They're all 2.5 gig on that piece of hardware. All of the plus ports are 2.5 gig, and I need unless maybe you guys can help me with this, right? So I've got that issue where I need power for that 2.5 gig 8 port PoE plus, or sorry, I've got the 8 gig. Okay, so I have an 8 port switch out there that's currently being powered on a 2.5 gig PoE plus port. Can I use the PoE to power the device without a network thing going through it, but just power, and then use the SFP port as a 10 gig? So can I just use the PoE port as power and not networking, I guess is my question. Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad, Nick, you got that sorted. That's awesome. So you're talking about the voice preview earlier, maybe. You talking about the Home Assistant voice preview earlier made me say heck or nice. That's cool. Oculink, yep. I'm excited to try out Oculink. I've wanted to try it since I did a mini PC review months and months ago that had an Oculink port that I really wanted to try. But I didn't have a chance to do it then. I have the new laptop with the Ryzen AI 9HX370. I've been researching for the past week and what I can do with it. No luck, dude. I'm telling you, dude. The AI stuff, the NPUs are hard to get them working. I have the UM890, but no dock to test the Oculink. Yeah, I didn't know the 890 was a thing until I agreed to do the 880. So it is what it is. But I'll be waiting for, yeah. Colin says, I'll be waiting for when you switch away from Unify again. The reason he says that is because when I switch from Unify to TP-Link or to Amada, I guess, he got some of my old hardware. If I change away from Unify, it will be from MikroTik probably. You should be able to power it from the PoE and send it 10 gig on the SFP. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Oh, Alexia is here. Yay. Glad to see it. Yeah, I'm curious about that, about being able to power the switch over via PoE, but not use that for networking, but then just use the SFP Plus for the 10 gig from that switch, between the two switches up front, and then the RJ45 from the PoE powered switch to the stuff back here. There's nothing that supports the NPU on AMD yet. I wondered about that too. When I did the review of the Asus NUC 14 Pro Plus, it was still very new. I think I had the 185 processor, so it was still very, very new, and it was a nightmare to get anything to work. And then when I did the Intel sponsored content, there were a couple of apps that were there that I was able to use it pretty easily, but it was only a couple of apps even then. Wouldn't you just put the PoE port on an empty VLAN so no traffic is routed? That was kind of my thought, but I wasn't sure. So I may try that when nobody else is here. Oh, that's so good. It's my desktop, but I replaced it with a newer AMD GPU. That's awesome. So yeah, so like right now I've got the HL15 back here that I'm using for my home server, and it's got an RTX 2070 in it that I'm using basically just for transcoding at this point. But I've got, I think, a P2000. I think it's a P2000. I don't know. I don't even know if it says. Anyway, I've got this Quadro card that I will probably swap in for that, at least temporarily, for the transcoding, because that'll do just fine for transcoding locally. And then use the 2070 when I do the live stream of the Minis Forum PC and GPU dock, because I need, or M2, I don't know, man. I wish I, do I have, I don't even think I'm logged in. I bought it off of eBay. I actually used it for a while. Yeah, let me see if I get logged in. Because now I'm curious. I don't remember what I did with what that was. Okay, click. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a P2000, but of course it wants a code. It always wants a code. Yep. Man, all right, let's see. Yeah, that's fine. We'll trust that. I'm pretty sure it's a P2000. Okay, that's great. My purchase history, haven't ordered. Yeah, this is the one I got. Yeah, of course, that's not helpful. View order details. That's not what I want. Yeah, it's an NVIDIA Quadro P2000. And the thing that I actually really like about it is that it's a 75 watt card, so it doesn't require additional power. So, or maybe I'll just use this for the initial setup on that. I don't know, man. I don't know yet. But anyway, I'm still working out. Still working out the details on what my plan is for that live stream once I get the hardware. Ports. If both switches have STP enabled, just connect both ports. It will work normal and should route all of the traffic through the fastest port. Yeah, the other thing is this. No. other thing I'm wondering, because I don't remember all of a sudden, I don't know if I've got enough ports available on that still. Let me, yeah, give me my email. Oh, of course it's not going to pull it up there, because it always puts it in a different folder. Let me switch email accounts to there, to there, and to there. Let me get logged in over here. And then let's go over to Unify Devices. Okay. So this is my current Unify setup, and I'm still just blown away. Okay, so this is the 2.5 gig. This is the USW Flex 2.5 gig PoE. Port manager. Okay, I've only got like 5 ports on this being used. So in theory, then, I might be able to power it, say, on like port 8. In fact, that I can turn off. She doesn't need PoE on that. She does not need PoE for that, but I don't want to mess with her while she's doing stuff. So, come on, there we go. So 2.5 gig port. So it's entirely possible that I could try that. And just plug in like a, does it say what the upstream is? Okay, so actually port 9. Port 9. Is that, what is port 9? I'm confused. Now I gotta go back and look. Now I'm confused. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I could plug into port 8, because port 9 is the 10 gig RJ45. So I could power it on port 8 then, and then connect the SFP Plus to the 16 port switch that's also got 10 gigs. So I'd have an SFP Plus to SFP Plus 10 gig connection between those two switches, and then plug in the 10 gig that comes out to this rack into this port. I will try that when nobody else is using the network. So that might be a way to do it. That might be the way to handle that. So I have to give that a try. I use two P1000s for my Llama and an ARC A310 for transcoding. Yeah, I've got an ARC A310, the Sparkle or whatever, in my, what is it called? My ZimaCube, and it actually is brilliant for transcoding. But it just recently, like for some reason, I don't know if it was overheating or what the issue was, but it started throwing errors, and it started like crapping out on me, and it wouldn't connect, and I lost my remote shares. It just wouldn't work, and I think it was a heat issue with that ZimaCube, which is unfortunate because it's a great little device, except that apparently it gets too hot, and I'm not the only one who's had that issue. In fact, I had that issue on the first one they sent me. It would get too hot and it would act weird. And yeah, so that's bizarre. There it is. All right. How are you using 2 for Llamas? Does it the G? Yeah, that's a good question too. I think, let me see. Nighthawk. Sorry, I'm pulling up Nighthawk's playbooks here for Llama. So depending on how it's set up, based on this, there might be a way to, like, devices, driver, NVIDIA count 1. You could maybe set that to 2, and that might do the job. I don't know. I've never actually done it. But based on this Docker Compose, I would assume they'd have to be on the same rig. But my guess would be something like this, where you could then do that. But I think you'd also have to, if you're doing something with like Proxmox, you'd have to pass through both GPUs. I don't have it over here, but you'd have to pass through both GPUs to that on a PCI device, and then in theory you could stack them in the Docker Compose. But again, that is just hypothetical. I don't know. But that's an interesting idea to stack them like that. You're using two P1000s. I'm not sure what the P1000. No. GPU. Oh, yeah, so it's also a 4 gig card. Gotcha. Do 4 gig each. There you go. Yeah. I run mine on a VM and pass through the GPU with Llama and sees it and uses them. That's cool. Like I've got Llama set up currently. Like I can come into Home Assistant. I can find it. You just go to here, and then I can say like turn off key light left. Right, like I can do quick things like that. But again, I don't have the voice set up. Turn on key light left. So and that's because I've got this tied to my Llama instance. I'm almost 100% sure. Devices and services, Llama, one entity, yeah. And then that's what I'm using for that. Devices, I don't know. I remember how I set it up. I should. It wasn't that long ago. I had probably passed it. I don't see it. But anyway, oh, no, that's local to you. I don't know. But that's cool. It's neat to know that. It's crazy to think that that's where we are. Like, we're just like passively talking about this much power just on a whim, easily configurable and having the ability to just pass hardware through and being able to do so much in our homes with so little effort. Might pick up another RTX 4000. Holy crap, dude. eBay. I don't even know if... Man, the idea of RTX... Let's just look up this. I mean, I guess it's not too bad. 12 gig RTX 4090 for $500. It's not bad, I guess. I mean, it's better than, you know, what you'd pay for a 50 series card. I mean, some of these are 12. Yeah, like some of these are way overpriced still, but no. Oh, the Quadro RTX. I gotcha. Quadro RTX. Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's a bit more reasonable. And like the 16 gig, the RTX 5000 for $500, more or less. Not bad at all. Or, I mean, you could step it up. You could get the 48 gig. You could get the 48 gig for $2,500. I actually really don't hate that. That's not a bad price for that. $250. Let's see. Yeah. Not a bad. Quit talking me into it, right? Yeah, no, that's actually not a bad price for that, to get 8 gigs of DDR6 for that. I mean, that's not a bad price for that. I wonder. I'm just curious. 3070. Yeah, it's a better deal than a 3070 at this point. So, yeah, then you'd be in deep sea territory. Yeah, I would like to do something with more than 8 gigs of VRAM. In fact, here's an RTX 5000 with 16 gigs of RAM for $500. Like that's a decent price. And of course, it's going to require 2 6-pins, but at least it's not the 12 volt high voltage or the high power 12 volts or whatever the hell it's called. I use one of those for my second Plex instance with. That's cool. That's one of the other issues that I have with my HL15 that I didn't realize until it was too late. And it was well after the fact, but I went in there because I was going to throw in, because I had the 20. I don't remember which order it was. Anyway, I had one GPU in there. I wanted to add a second. I think I had the 2070 and I wanted to add this. But then I discovered I've only got one GPU slot on that motherboard, and that made me sad. So I can only put one GPU in there. But the other card I have is an RTX A2000, a 12 gig A2000. Wow, A2000, 12 gigabit. How much is that one, I wonder? $400, between $400 and $500. I think Craft Computing has done quite a bit of content about these, but for $500, not too bad. Right, it's funny how AMD generally have more VRAM, but they're bad for AI, but they're good for gamers, right? Still a bit slow on the AI, but it does transcoding great. Yeah, you and Jamie and Aruna definitely in agreement there. So yeah, let me see, make sure I haven't really missed anything too terribly important over here. Online sources and everything, nice. That's great. Okay. Man, I've been fighting this allergy thing. It's springtime and everything's blooming, and like my sinuses are all stuffy throughout the day. At night, it's awful. Hey, Sergeant Taco says, how's it going? I think we're doing okay here. I'm doing all right. We're just hanging out. We're currently talking about GPUs and AI and transcoding and that sort of thing. Local AI for the record, so that we can keep control of our stuff to the best of our ability, based on what our hardware and software lets us do. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah, yep, that's fine. I watch Digital Spaceport channel for multi GPU for Llama. That's cool. Yeah, I don't have the right motherboard to have more than one GPU in my setup. A buddy of mine ordered the same RTX 4000 card, and they ended up sending him the 80A version. I think that's unfortunate. Like, I bet he was pissed. I would be. Like, if you're looking for something, a very specific thing, and getting something very different, I'd be upset about that too. I would absolutely be upset about that. I don't think there's anything there that I need to take a look at. I think we're good there. Oh, let's see, I bought an RTX A400 to use my Plex container running on a Trona. I think it was less than $200 ship. Yeah, I think that's kind of what my my P2000 or whatever was. That one was actually relatively cheap. I think it was $140 for this card. And again, I'm gonna probably throw that back in there for transcoding, unless I can get my Zima Cube to play nicely. Because I don't even know what's going on with that, but because that Sparkle card worked great. I think that was on Amazon. I don't know why I did that. That's dumb. Sometimes I wonder about myself. Sparkle. Was it this one? Yeah, the A310. And if you're looking for a good transcoder, man, the Sparkle A310 is a beast. It does really well. Here's an Amazon. This is an affiliate link if you want to pick one of those up for yourself, or just set that cookie so when you buy something else. But yeah, the A310 Eco, 4 gigs of DDR6, 50 watt TDP. Interesting. But yeah, like $100 for that, and it's great. It works really well. And what I really, really appreciated about that card, because it's Intel, and because of whatever, I was able to put it in my setup. I installed Proxmox on it, and I didn't have to go through the process of setting up an NVIDIA graphics card. I didn't have to do their drivers. I didn't have to do their special software. I didn't have to do all of that. I plugged in the card. I installed Proxmox. I was able to go in. It's like, hey, there's this. Do you want to pass that through? And I was like, yeah, I want to pass that through. And I passed that through, and I added the like /dev dot or /DRI to the Docker Compose, and Plex was like, hey, you've got this A310. Do you want to use that to transcode? And I was like, yeah, I want to use that. And I was done. I didn't have to spend like an hour configuring NVIDIA crap, because the Sparkle Arc A310 from Intel just worked brilliantly with both Proxmox and with the Docker container for Plex. It was just, I loved it so much. It really was a nice way to handle everything. So finally getting Intel. Oh, they're finally getting Intel GPU supported Android. I'm surprised it took them this long. I mean, I guess I'm not, because Intel cards are fairly new. But no, that's cool. I'm glad that they're doing that. QuickSync is way too easy for ARC cards, dude. It is brilliant. It's so easy to set up in Proxmox and in Docker containers, and like it's just included with the operating system, all of the drivers you need, and it's brilliant. Again, that's been my experience. I know everybody's going to be a little different there, but that's been my experience, and I just loved how easy it was. Excuse me, throat's getting dry. Yeah. Also going to share this to the chat. That's Discord. You should join if you haven't already. Your servers or someone else's? Those are mine. That's my Discord server. If that's what you're asking. Hey, Duke. Glad to see you here. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. So I shared the Discord server because you should join, for a couple of reasons, right? We've got a fun little community of people. Oh, it'll be my server maintenance if I get around to it. I don't even know what needs to be done, if I'm being completely honest. Backup was run. I actually did a bunch of server maintenance. Right, I say that. I updated my portainers the other day. There's some stuff we can do in here. Guess we can give that a look. Watchtower Act Pieces Portainer 24 hours ago. Yeah. Cool. So anyway, the reason I said you should join Discord is for a couple of reasons. We've got a fun community in there, people hanging out and talking about everything from their personal lives and work and videos that they've seen recently and news going on in the world and just all over the place. We talk about all kinds of stuff, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, 2 hours into stream, no maintenance has been done. I mean, look, we did some tech support at the beginning, and looking at this, I don't really have a lot of tech support or a lot of maintenance to do. I need to update the database on my Bookstack instance, and I got a couple of things there to update. We'll do it. We'll get there. Just join your Discord. Awesome. So the other thing is that if we come into here, yeah, so there's that. We've got this tech help, right? If you've got a tech support question, you can come in here, and we were talking about this at the beginning. Honestly, I thought it was a garbage title for the video. I just couldn't come up with anything else. My brain's been real dumb lately. We'll talk about that later, maybe. But so we've got this tech support thing in here. If you need help with tech support, if you're having issues with something, you can come in here and you can create a post, and then you can see this is. We've got a lot of people who've asked questions, and then if you've got a similar question, you can come in here and see other people who've asked similar questions, and maybe their stuff can help your stuff. All kinds of cool stuff. So if you have tech support questions, this is a great way to get help. So there's that. And again, we've got just hanging out and chatting like we do all of the time, and all kinds of stuff. Title DB Tech inspired me too, right? The other thing that I was actually chatting about with a couple of other people, my Discord mods, was adding a couple of other channels in there to help kind of keep things organized a little bit better. My initial thought, I don't know why that's still up. Let's go over there. Then we'll get into some maintenance. So my initial thought when I was talking to the guys in Discord last night, and my moderators, was, what if I created another channel that was newsworthy, right? And it would be where people can share, whether it's me or mods or whoever, can share posts about things going on in the tech world, right? So I read something last night that I thought was interesting. I think we talked about it earlier. I have to go back quite a ways here to find it. It wasn't that. Oh, it was this. So Microsoft wants Windows 11 installs to use a Microsoft account and then disabling the removal of the bypass NRO, right? And I thought that would be an interesting topic to talk about. And that kind of got me thinking, well, maybe if I created another channel in the server. Oops, I keep pushing the wrong. One of these days, man, I'm going to get it right. I swear. Are we still okay? We're good. I apologize. That was dumb. Right. You're right. We do already get that in general chat, but it would be nice to have a section where we can just share tech stories, tech news, these kinds of articles, and have just a general repository for those links, those URLs, those stories, right? Because there's a lot of chat that happens in the general chat channel, and these kind of things get buried very, very quickly. I don't know if it would be just a regular channel or if it would be like a forum like we did with tech support, so that we can have, like a topic, a link that was shared with a discussion that's tied directly into that specific post. I got to figure out, hopefully with maybe your guys' help and the help of my mods, the best way to approach that. My thought was just my initial thought was just a channel, but then Collins was like, hey, what if we did a forum instead? Jamie also says forums would be better. Yeah, okay. I think that's great. We all agree, more of a forum style. I dig that. Thank you. So I think that would be a great way to do that. Then we can share news stories and we can share these articles and have conversations about them in a forum style setup. I think that would be great. Using forums option so everybody has threads to discuss. Yes, okay. Nighthawk, thank you. I think we're all in agreement there. We'll get the forum set up. I don't know what we'll call it, newsworthy, or we'll come up with something so that people can share these links and have discussions on them, so that we're not trying to reference something, a different story in a conversation. It'll be easier if we do forums. Okay, I think we all agree with that. And then Collins also mentioned something about possibly also doing one about NAS or storage as a separate channel, which would just be more of a conversational thing, I think. But then an off topic as well, just so that because his logic was because he and someone else keep chatting about F1 stuff and clogging up the chat. But definitely I want to do probably an off topic just because, and I definitely want to do the stories forum thing. Can there be an update or so in Discord when there's some in the forum? Please call it inspiring news from DB Tech. Well, it's not from me though. We'll figure something out. We will. There'll be an update or so in the Discord when there is some in the forum. I mean, the forum should pop up and let you know that there's something there. So I don't know if we want to have the forum notify the main chat if there's a new forum post. We'll figure something out. What else we got here? Oh, else some of us just forget about the forum. That's fair. But here's the thing. I think here's what I think, right? Very much like people asking for tech support in the main chat, we very often refer them to the forum for tech support. And I think after a while, people will get in the habit of using that. But what it will also give the opportunity to do is, and if I'm being honest, I'm using you guys for this, right? And I'm just going to be super transparent about that, because sometimes I don't always know what's going on in the world of tech. In fact, I'm very, very oblivious to a lot of the things going on in the tech world. So if you guys, or if we're all sharing stories together in there, then it gives me some items to pick from to chat about in these live streams, and it can be kind of a communal thing. And I think that was kind of my ultimate goal there, was like, I think this would be interesting to talk about. What if I got other people to contribute to this hive mind thing of contributing interesting stories to talk about on the live streams? Because I don't want to completely just rip off Ethan with the Self-Host newsletter. Like, I will cover his newsletter for as long as it makes sense, until he's able to kind of pick that back up if he decides to go that route. But I would also like to not just kind of read his newsletter. So I'm I'm still trying to figure out a few things. But I think it would be fun to have another forum section where people are able to contribute stories that they think are interesting, and then we can talk about those things here on the live stream. That's my thought. Anywho, so I just wanted to get that out into the world so that you guys can think about that. But it sounds like people are on board to set up a way to submit stories in a forum layout to keep the conversation going about news that's going on in the world regarding tech and that sort of thing. So yay, I'm glad we got that sorted. So let's do this. Let's get logged in over here. And no, you guys can't see my screen. That's deliberate. All right. Sorry, Savag shared this. We're gonna show this real quick. This is Savag's Home Assistant with a wrapper, which I think is great, of his homepage dashboard. That's actually pretty cool. I dig that. That's pretty neat. I would probably try to go the other way, but only if I had tabs set up like it looks like you do here. I don't know. Oh, damn it. You're right. My bad. Thank you. Thank you, Runa. Appreciate it. Yeah, so this is Savag's Home Assistant. You can see that over here on the left with an iframe in here with some tabs. That looks really, really good. Like, well done on that. That looks really good. I still need to get Peanut set up. I need to get my UPS on the network so that I can pull that in and take a look at it. But he mentioned it in the chat, and I thought I would share. So, yeah, a bit hard to read with that background image. I agree. To each their own. I don't want to diss on that because I'm colorblind. Like, I've got a weird, I can't remember what it's called. A mild Dutant, I think is what is my diagnosis or whatever. But like like if you look at my desktops, like all of my desktops are just usually a black solid color. Because if there's an image on the background, I often can't differentiate the background from the icon or the text. So all of my backgrounds are very, very flat colors or are very subtle changes in colors. Background images, my brain, my eyes, whatever, don't. I have a hard time reading that stuff like you mentioned there. So all of my backgrounds are very, very basic for that reason. So since you guys keep whining about how I misled you and I'm not doing my maintenance stuff, let's do some maintenance stuff. So we've got a couple of things here on our active pieces. VM. So we've got active pieces down here. That's the VM that I'm using for that. I'm on 129. I'm going to do this via SSH because I don't like to do it that way. So we're on 129 for that. We'll do this. Oops. There we go. Cool. So now we're logged into this active pieces here, and we can see that we've got a Portainer that needs to be updated as well as the active pieces itself. So we're going to come into here. I'm actually going to drag this off screen. Oh, that's right. That IP address changed. That one is here. I don't remember. Oh, that. that is not it. Where did it go? That's the one for Getty. I changed all of my subnets recently when I got this new setup. And I'm still trying to remember what all of my stuff is. Yeah, continue. Notes. Do this. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, again, because I've got this Gotify. Sorry, I'm on Gotify. The first thing I'm going to do is update Portainer, because that's just seems like the smarter way to handle that first. So we're just going to paste this in here. If you can't read that, basically we're going to pull the newest version of Portainer. We're going to stop Portainer. So we're going to pull the newest image. We're going to stop and remove Portainer. Then we're going to rerun it with the newest instance. So that's what's going on. As soon as I remember the command I need to run. Fine. That was dumb. Anyway, so that's fixed. All right, so that I just needed to update that Portainer instance because I needed to. Active pieces was on one. Is that still on? Did I not move that? Did I really not move that? I didn't move that. That's dumb. Sometimes, man. 129. I thought I moved this to a different. I just put in a bash script. Oh yeah, I often use a bash script for certain things. Okay, and here if we take a look, we can see that it is active pieces that needs to be updated because of this. Because instead of having like the actual image name or whatever, it's just a random string of characters. That's how I know that it needs to be updated. So I just click duplicate and edit. Oops, I can click recreate and then repull image and click recreate. And then we'll give this a minute to do its thing. And then we'll go from there. So we'll give this a second to do its thing. That's all fine. All right. And then there was one other that I needed to do. Book stack. I need to update book stack. Let's see here. We'll give this a second. It's almost done. Almost done. Did that for bezel and dozzle. Yeah, I really should redeploy bezel. But excuse me, geez. I reinstalled something the other day, next term, and realized it's not really all that different from what I'm currently doing here. So I'll probably get rid of that just because I'm doing most everything this way and it's not that difficult. So, man, nope, this one. PS, is this one? Watchtower. Yeah, that's the one I need. IPA. This is on 7.52. So I need to do 943. And then if I come into containers here, yeah, we can see this database also needs to be updated again because the image there, it's a random string of characters. So we'll click recreate and we'll repull the image and click recreate. And since we did all of this active pieces stuff, I can delete that. And I think, yeah, like at this point, that's basically everything that needs to be done. So once that was fast, holy crap. So that should be good to go then. DBTES. Cool. So that's still working. That means we're good to go there. And I can close this and I can close that. And I can go over to here. I can go over to here and I can just click delete all. And because that's everything more than 2 days old. So we should be good to go there. Yeah, so that was server maintenance done. I didn't lie. I was keeping you hooked so that you'd keep watching. Let's go back to there. So let's see here. To do Thomas, this says message retracted, and I don't know why. But it doesn't say that over here. That's strange. You need to move back to Pertainer and kill Casa OS because it's making me dumb. Dude, I get that. I think Casa OS has a great setup for people who just want very, very... Oh, typo. Thanks. Appreciate that. I think services like Casa OS and Coolify and those types of kind of all-in-one ecosystems like that are good if like you just want to set something up quickly and not put a lot of thought into it, and you're only going to do this one little thing or these couple of little things, and you don't want to put a lot of time and effort into it. You're not going to worry about the complexity of building something else. You don't want to worry about, you just want something very simple, and you're not going to do anything custom. I think COS-OS, ZemoOS, those types of services are great for that. But if you want to kind of get your hands dirty, if you want to be able to set up more complex things, those types of setups start to fall apart because it's not what they were designed for. They're not meant for complex builds. They're meant for very, very simple, very straightforward, click a couple of things and off to the races. Yeah, like you said, they're great for the click and go, but if you want under the hood, it's not the best. That's a great way to explain it. So yeah, that's I agree. The thing that you may run into, depending on how you redeploy everything, is that if you Discord update it changed server profile. Wait, heads up with this Discord update it changed server profile and access. I don't. I'm not sure I follow Jamie Jones Jr. Heads up with the Discord update, it changed server profile and access. That might be a conversation in Discord because I feel like that's going to get into a whole can of worms or whatever. But I'm definitely interested in more information on that. I posted some. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll take a look at that later. Thank you, appreciate it, man. So yeah. I've always been a tinkerer, somebody who likes to get my hands dirty, somebody that likes to dig into the weeds, or whatever vernacular you want to put, whatever saying, whatever, right? I always like to dig into things as much as I can until I hit a comfort level I'm no longer comfortable with, and then that's where I draw my line most of the time. And again, COS-OS and there are others, and I don't mean to pick on COS-OS because they're obviously not the only one. But those are very high level, very basic, and I think that's great for certain people. It just doesn't satisfy my need to tinker. So that's what I really love about this, right? This lets me tinker, and this one, if I can find my mouse again, this one lets me tinker even more because I don't care what happens to it. Whereas this other one, this runs my house in all kinds of different ways, so I don't tinker as much in here. But I do in this one because this is a mini PC that I realized yesterday is actually behind my rack on the floor somehow. But I love to tinker, and those pre-built solutions, again, not picking on COS-OS, but like COS-OS, that don't let me tinker as much as I would like, and I'm kind of tied into what they allow me to do. So, so yeah, that's what I was trying to get out. I'm going to start closing some stuff here because I'm getting sidetracked. Speaking of, okay, so you guys have obviously seen, even in this live stream, that I get very easily sidetracked. It's been an issue for a long time. Hold on. See, I'm doing it right now. Even Home Assistant is similar to COS-OS with their add-ons. They don't just have a specific use, and most don't do what the tinker. Yeah. Well, look, but you can, right? You can do a lot of that if you get into the YAML config files and that sort of thing, which is initially what turned me off from it. I like the GUI to learn, and then I like to tinker afterwards. But of course, the add-ons are going to be restricted to what the developer allowed that add-on to do, so it's a weird thing. Anyway, back to the point that I sidetracked myself with. I get sidetracked a lot, as case in point. No, that wasn't planned, and no, it wasn't deliberate. It's been an issue for a long time. Like, I've always been somebody who has to be doing like 3 things at the same time to get anything done. I have a hard time focusing on one thing at a time and dedicating all of my brain and energy to that. I have to be doing a lot of anything, I have to be doing a lot of anything in order to get anything done. And that's super unfortunate. Sidetracking again, we did some server maintenance. So if that's what you're here for, you missed it, Collins. No, I had to update a couple of containers. It wasn't a big deal. But so anyway, I've always kind of been very scattered in my thoughts, in the way I do things. It frustrates my wife to no end, and I don't blame her. I will have a pile of crap in the living room that I need to bring out here to get out of the living room, and then I'll come out here into the studio, and it's like, oh well. It would be easier to clean that spot if this spot was clean, so I'd have someplace to put that crap. So I then come out here and I spend 8 hours in here cleaning because I got sidetracked by 9 other things in here. And then by the time I'm done out here, it's time to not be cleaning anymore. So I go back in there, and then it's time to get the kid ready for bed and do all of that stuff. And then the day is over, and then rinse and repeat. And it's there have been times recently where like she and I will have a conversation, and then, like the next day or like 10 minutes later, I'll have no recollection of having had that conversation. And that sucks. So I put in a request for a neuro referral from my primary care physician, who put in the referral, and then the neuro office in his practice or whatever in his facility rejected it because I'm not old enough. They don't take on referrals for anyone under 65 unless I've gone through a neuropsych eval first. So on April 1st, to get to the meat of the story here, on April 1st, I have a meeting, a consultation, an evaluation, whatever you want to call it, with a neuropsych. And that will be like a 6-hour evaluation to figure out kind of what's going on. It's going to be a lot of different tests and conversations and interviews and all kinds of stuff with a double doctorate holding provider who's got a PhD in psychiatry or whatever, as well as an MD. So it's one person holding both of those doctorates, or a team of people holding different doctorates or something. So I'm having that meeting Monday. That meeting will be about 6 hours long based on what they told me. And from there, they will then collect all of that data and put together a report. And hopefully that report will include some sort of diagnosis and their recommendations for a treatment plan. That may be seeing a shrink or whatever you want to call them. That may be more meds. That may be any number of things. I don't know. But that's kind of where things are with that. I'm aware of my scatterbrainedness. I'm aware that I talk too fast. I'm aware that I get easily sidetracked. I'm aware of these things. But here's the bitch of it. I put in that request with my primary care physician in January. And he immediately put in the referral. Like the next day, put in the referral. It wasn't until about 2 weeks ago that I remembered that he had put in the referral and that I needed to call to make the appointment. Like that's how, like I thought about it a dozen times, but then never acted on it. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. Like I want to act on it. I want to get things to be better. I want to be more put together mentally, because I feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice with my content, with my rambling, with my live streams. I can do better. But I can also be a better partner to my wife. I can be a better father to my son. I can be a better person in society if my brain will slow down and I can figure out how to make it better. But it took me a long time to ask for the referral. And once the referral was done, it took me a long time to remember to call to make the appointment about the referral. So I've done that. And again, that appointment is Monday morning. I've got to be there at like 8:30. Monday. I said Monday. I don't know if it's actually Monday. It is Tuesday morning at 8:30 in the morning. I've got this appointment. The appointment will be 6 hours. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get all of this data put together with the diagnosis or the plan of action. I don't know how long that's going to take. But if I'm being honest, I'm excited and scared. And I'm excited because I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to be more put together in my own brain. Also, I'm scared because if they put me on meds that cause me to slow down too much, then, and I've been on meds that have done this to me when I was in my teens. If they put me on the wrong meds, which is possible the first couple of times to figure out what meds work for me, then I may not be able to do the live streams the way I want to. I may not be able to create the content the way I want to because I'll have to learn to readjust me and my expectations based on my brain chemistry, based on the meds that they suggest. So I'm excited and scared simultaneously. So this is me being transparent. This is me being honest. That's kind of where I am right now. So there you go. Let's see. So that's I wanted to share that so that if you see my content being weird, I'm going to acknowledge it when I see it myself. But if you see it being weirder than normal or a different kind of weird that's unexpected, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in Discord. If you've got my phone number, text me. I don't care. There's only 2 of you here that have my phone number. So if anybody else does it, I'll know that you're a bad person. But yeah, so that's just where things are. And I wanted to be transparent about that. The important is to be better. I agree. I do. I'm about to get emotional for some reason. Anyway, so I'm trying to be better for a lot of reasons. And look, I'm not discounting my own, like I said, for you guys, for my wife, for my son, for the whatever, but I'm also doing it for me. Oh man, that's an old reference, Jamie. Banana phone, that's an old reference. But anyway, I wanted to let you guys know in advance that this could be coming down the pipeline or whatever. So if you see it, I want to let you know that I'm aware of it. But if it's weird in a different way than you've grown accustomed to over however long you've been watching my content and you've been watching the live streams and then you've been in the Discord or whatever, if it goes extra weird or too far off different weird, let me know. Like I would appreciate that. But don't be a dick about it. Like just, hey, is everything okay? Are you doing okay? Like something, but Just seen your post. That's messed up. Almost looks like an NDA form. I'll have to take a look at that, I guess. I'm glad I never had any health issues. Life was hard enough without those, dude. That's no joke. If you start streaming and a shoe on your head, I'll say something. Don't worry. Thank you. I appreciate your willingness to do that for me. So another quick little update since we're talking about health stuff. For the last couple of years, I've been fighting with my blood pressure. For a long time, it was like 150 over 100 or like 150 over 110, which is bad. It's bad. It's not good. And several months ago, we found a new concoction of meds to bring it down to normal. And it's from a number of different things that have caused some of this. Part of it is my condition of granulomatosis with polyangiitis, which is basically a blood vessel disease. It's an autoimmune blood vessel disease, and it attacks my body by like shrinking my blood vessels. But that is mostly in remission, we think, at this point, based on recent blood tests, which is awesome. But also I've got kidney disease to go along with that. I was on dialysis for about 2 years. I did both hemodialysis as well as peritoneal dialysis. Hemodialysis is where they suck your blood out, clean it, and put it back. I actually had a port in my chest on this side because I was having so much stuff done with blood going in and out, chemicals going in and out. They just hooked up to this port that I had poking out of my chest. And then they were able to take that port out, and I did what's called peritoneal dialysis, and that's where they put effectively a hose in your guts, like between your organs, and then that pumps in this sucrose solution. And it would sit there for a while, and it would suck it out and dump it, and it would pump in some more, and then let it sit there for a while and suck it out and dump it, and that kind of worked similarly, just in a different method. And it was awful. I hated it. It was so painful. It's not uncommon for that to be painful. It's not painful for everybody, but it's not uncommon for it to be painful for some people. And I was in that group. So I was on dialysis for a long time, a couple of years. But I still have stage 3B chronic kidney disease. And as a result of that, my kidneys, they've got their own little brain, basically. It's not a brain, but it has its own little mechanism of doing what it does to let your body know what's going on. Martin, thank you for that. That's really, really nice of you. Thank you for that donation. So my kidneys were basically telling my body that my kidneys' blood pressure was wrong, so telling the rest of my body to compensate, which was bringing my blood pressure way up throughout the rest of my body so that my kidneys' blood pressure would be right. So we put me on some vasodilators for the past several months, in addition to my blood pressure meds and that sort of thing. So about 4 days ago, I was sitting at my desk. It was early in the morning. I was drinking my first cup of coffee. I had taken my meds, which includes a blood pressure med, this vasodilator, and a cholesterol med. That's my morning meds. Not a big deal. I took them. About 45 minutes later, I did a normal like early morning stretch and about passed out. So I took it easy, and then it got better and it was fine. Next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. Yesterday, I took my blood pressure because I've got a blood pressure cuff at home. And let me see if I can find it. Oops, no, not this. I want this. Work with me here. Let me see. Is that it? Yeah. So I took my blood pressure it was like 8 o'clock in the morning or something, and it was 99/81. And I was like, oh, well, that explains a lot. That's bad too. Like not super dangerous bad, but could be if I were to stretch and pass out bad. So next day, same thing, right? I took my blood pressure and it was like 101/84. And I was like, well, it's better, but not by enough. So this morning, I got up and took my blood pressure and it was 115/83 before any meds. And I was like, cool, that's basically exactly where I want it to be. So I've switched up my meds there a little bit, and I'm going to play with them a little bit over the next few days to see what happens. But the moral of the story here is that I think I've finally got my blood pressure under control in a very managed state, and I'm super, super excited about that. I think we're doing good stuff with that. I've got one more tweak, depending on how this goes, that I want to make, which could fix something else that I've been dealing with, which was edema. My legs have been retaining water, so I've been like sleeping with my feet elevated, and that sucks. But the vasodilator that I've been on, this amlodipine, often causes edema in some patients. And it seems about the time I started getting the edema is when my blood pressure changed, fixed itself, whatever. And I feel like the amlodipine is causing the tanking of my blood pressure. So if I can come off of the amlodipine, then my blood pressure should regulate without the need for it. And I'm hoping that will also reduce the edema simultaneously. So that's kind of where things are. That's my medical workup in a nutshell, to let you know kind of where things are with all of that. That's kind of what I've been working on behind the scenes, while I'm trying to, create content and deal with getting the kid back on track and being part of a family, and then creating content, and there's always something going on behind the scenes. And I just thought I would share. I just thought I'd share that with you and let you know kind of things are looking good. Things are looking better, if nothing else. But yeah, so it's good to be on that track. Thomas W says that's not bad. Kind of like that's not a knife comment, right? Try 200 was there for a while, dude. So be careful with that. I hope you say a while as in not anymore. In 2016, when I was hospitalized, on May 4th, 2016, I had an episode of PRESS, which is encephalopathy. That's where your brain swells inside your skull. It sent me into back-to-back grand mal seizures, and the only way they could stop the seizures was by putting me in coma number 3. And because my blood pressure spiked to like 250 over 170, we don't know why, we don't know what caused it, we don't know. But they had to put me in coma number 3 to get the seizures to stop. And it actually, that encephalopathy caused lesions on my brain, which is part of the reason that I'm as scattered as I am. Faced with 2 surgeries and meds. That sucks, but I'm glad you got it fixed. That's so good. I'm so happy to hear that. So with blood pressure that high, it's dangerous for a lot of reasons. It's not only dangerous because high blood pressure like that can cause you to have a heart attack or a stroke and just kill you instantly. Or it can do like it did with me, and it can cause encephalopathy, which would also cause a stroke, which is what we thought it was originally. Yeah, super high blood pressure is so dangerous. It's so important to manage your blood pressure appropriately. And I've been very diligent over the last year, more than a year now, about not missing a dose of meds. I was initially, when I first got to the hospital, I was resentful, I was hateful, I was so angry that I was very whatever about taking my meds. But I was hospitalized again last January for most of the month, and I was like, okay, this is enough. Of course, none of that hospitalization had nothing to do with my meds, but I was like, okay, this is my last wake up call because the next one could kill me. So I've been very diligent about taking my meds appropriately, and I've been pretty happy with the results overall. Do live stream help you in all this, like some sort of relaxing mindfulness? It does. The live streams really do help me for a couple of reasons. The reality is I'm an antisocial person by nature. I always have been. Even as a kid, I didn't have many friends. Like it wasn't until I got into high school until I finally had like a close group of friends. Like in middle school, I had a couple of friends. I had a best friend, and I had some associate friends as a result of his group of friends, that sort of thing. But it wasn't until high school that I started having like a group of friends that I would hang out regularly with. But now I don't. I have friends, right? But most of them live in Idaho, where I'm from, and I've got some friends here, and I'm meeting new people, every once in a while. But this is more than just me sharing whatever I'm working on. This is more than just me, getting paid to demonstrate Twingate, right? This is a social interaction for me. This is basically the most social interaction I get is doing these live streams. And part of that, most of that is my fault. I don't like people, which I know sounds dumb, but kind of not. I don't like to go through the honeymoon phase of meeting new people, of the, well, do you like this or do you like that, or do we agree on this or do we agree on that? And it's very hard for me to meet new people because I don't like to go through that honeymoon phase. My wife and I have both agreed, like, if this marriage doesn't work out, like, we're never dating anyone else again. And it's not because, she was the one or he was the one. It's just like, F this, man. All of this superficial garbage that people think is a relationship or a friendship or whatever is rarely anything more than what can you do for me? Whether that's work, whether that's friends, whether that's whatever, it's what can you do for me? And as soon as you can't do that thing for me, then you're out. And I hate that. I hate that that's where we've gone in a society. And I understand that's a grand call for generalization there, right? I understand that. But in the most simple terms, that's basically what it's come down to is our society. And I don't just mean here in America. I mean, in a grander sense than that, it's most of the interactions that we have, and I don't just mean me or you, I mean in the grand world, most of the interactions we have, unless you've already got a group of friends, most of your new interactions are, what can you do for me? Or what can I do for you? Looking at it in the mirror, right? And that sucks. You know, there's such a lack of community anymore. There's such a lack of understanding and empathy to want to get to know somebody without strings being attached. And that's, I don't want to be an old man yelling at a cloud here, but it wasn't that long ago that that wasn't the case, right? Like we knew all of our neighbors, right? Like our kids were safe to just leave as soon as the sun came up and then come down or come home at sunset. We didn't have to worry about them, right? Like I was that kid, right? Like I was a latchkey kid. Like I would walk myself the mile to school or however long it was, half a mile, whatever. And then I would come home and I would let myself in and I would take care of myself until my parent unit got home. Or my grandparents or whatever the case was. We didn't have to worry about all of the awful things that are going on. And I know that there were awful things going on back then, and part of the issue is that we're seeing more and more of the awful things because of the news and because of social media. We're seeing we're being bombarded with these bad news stories more often than before because we didn't have access to 24-hour news cycles. We didn't have access to the internet. We didn't have access to all of that. But it's a more dangerous place out there because people who are online in these communities are they feel entitled to things that aren't theirs, that they have no entitlement to. And sometimes that is people, right? Sometimes that is your personal space. Sometimes that is any number of things that they aren't entitled to. And as a result, I don't like to go out much. I don't like to leave the house much. Like I go out every Friday morning, with exceptions. We go out and we do our grocery shopping for the following week. We run our errands Friday morning. We take our kid into therapy 5 days a week. We go out a few times a month and we'll grab dinner and a drink. But we don't go to events very often. Like we'll go see a show, a comedy show, or like I got to see Kevin Smith when he did his Clerks 3 tour. He landed up in Denver, so we went to that. We've seen some comedians, but we don't really just go to public events very often. Just because you don't know what kind of lunatic is there that's going to ruin the event. And I know that is a lot of... I can't even think of the right word. I know that is us putting the cart before the horse, I guess. Where we're not going out because we don't want to have our time ruined, so we're not having a good time to be ruined. But it's... with all of the awful stories that we keep seeing, it's like, why bother? Like, I don't go to the movie theater. I've got Dolby Atmos in my bedroom. Right? Like I don't, it just, a lot of the going, and I don't want to spend $80 to go watch a movie when I know I can watch it at home in relatively short order and have a better experience because I can pause if I need to go to the bathroom. I can go grab a snack and it's not going to cost me $20 for a pack of dots. Things like that. So anyway, to go back to the original question, yes, these are these live streams, this community that you guys have helped me build are very cathartic for me. This is a big chunk of my social interaction because of all of that. So yeah. Let's see. Jamie says, hey, you've never felt better as an old man until you get to yell at some kids to get off your lawn. I've had to do that a couple of times. Not that I cared that they were in my lawn, but because they were harassing my cat, like yelling at my cat to try to get it to come to them. I made them quit that. But Martin Higgs says, I'm single UK based, although I have a couple of small social circles. I enjoy the chats online as more about tech, which people that I know aren't interested. Yeah, and that's just it. My wife likes to reap the benefits of my tech stuff, but she doesn't care. She humors me, and that's fine. But she doesn't care about this new Docker container I found. It doesn't affect her unless I make it affect her. So yeah, kind of the same idea. Colin says it's a slight bit of projection, but it's not all invalid. I feel the same way when I take the kids to the movies. We only go to specific movies now, but I get anxious about some idiot who goes just to ruin other people's time. Yeah. Ben, thank you. That was really nice. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out, for helping me build this community. And I mean this little subsect of the overall self-hosted community. But I'm also glad that I get to be part of the self-hosted community, and I'm glad I get to contribute back to that because it's done so many things to help me that I want to give back. I want to help other people get into this community. And early on, when I first started this channel, I was an awful, awful, awful human being. I was the worst person in my own comments section. I was the most belligerent, hateful person who talked down to everybody. And I dramatically regret that. I've apologized for it on a dozen occasions, and I will continue to apologize for it for the rest of eternity because I was an awful, awful human being. And I have tried my best to correct that. I'm not saying I'm always the best, but I always try to be mindful. And if somebody says something truly belligerent, I will ask, what did you mean by that? What did you mean by that? Or do you care to elaborate on that? And very often they will not respond, or I will just mute them. So I'm actively trying to be a better person all of the time because I know that I was an awful human being. I know I am the reason that several dozen people gave up on self-hosting, and I feel garbage for that. And I've spent the last few years being aware and trying to do better and trying to redirect people or share the information I have, or if I don't have an answer, or if somebody just wants to be a jerk, I'll just ignore them. So I'm actively working on that because I don't want to be the a-hole in the community, because I was for a long time, and I hate that I was that person. I was not in a good place when I started this channel, medically, mentally, whatever. I was not in a good place, and I lashed out at so many people, and I feel like an absolute garbage human being for having done that. So I'm definitely trying to do better, because most of them didn't deserve the vitriol that I spewed in their direction. So I'm trying to do better, and thank you guys for your really kind words as I'm over here babbling. But sharing and learning together, thank you, reminds us what is important. And that's what I'm trying to do. And it's not, well, look how far I've come. It's like I haven't come far enough, and I'm not trying to be like whatever, right? I know I still have a lot of work to do. But I know that that's a progression. That's not something I can just snap my fingers and be done with. That's something that's going to continue to take time and work and effort, not only to keep doing better, but to not regress into who I once was, because I don't want to do that either. Ben says, you've been nothing but nice to me and really inspired me to do my thing. I think you've more than made up for any bad karma. Thank you. I don't know if I'll ever agree with you. Not because I think you're wrong in your thought process there, but because it's kind of that same mentality of gym, like those muscle heads in the gym. Like if you're ever happy with the way you look, you'll never improve, right? So I'm always looking for ways that I can continue to improve myself. And I know I'm going to have bad days. I know I'm going to have bad weeks or whatever. But I have to remind myself that if it wasn't for you guys who are here in this chat, if it wasn't for the people watching my videos and leaving the comments, good, bad, or indifferent, I wouldn't be able to have this community or be part of this community. And And even if it's not that, like when I go to the grocery store, when I'm out in public, I try to be kind because I don't know who's going through what. So I try to give compliments to random strangers that I've never met and I'll never see again, because little things, complimenting somebody's, their outfit, complimenting, their look, their whatever, right? Complimenting somebody over the littlest things can change their entire day. And I'm not trying to do it for the feel goods I get, but because people out there don't do enough to help each other. And it's not that hard to say, hey, dude, I really like your shoes. Or if you see somebody like, dude, your hair looks great, I love that color. It's not a hard thing to do. And unless you're a creep, people usually respond to it very well. It makes them smile. It makes them feel different. It makes them feel better. And it's not hard to do. And so I've been trying to do more of that out in the real world, in addition to not being a dick online. Acknowledging you have a flaw or problem that you want to change is already more than what 90% of people do. You're not wrong. But it's a hard realization to come to realize that, like, hey, I can do better. And I feel bad even having this conversation, because that's not what you guys came here for, right? You guys are here because I said we were going to do some maintenance on my stuff. So I like even us having this conversation makes me kind of feel guilty for taking away from what you guys came here for, which was the tech talk and that sort of thing. I know that a lot of you are here for the community, but there are people here who I've turned off from this live stream because I've been babbling about this for the last probably 20 minutes. And I'm always trying to find that balance, and I don't know that I'll ever find it. But Aruna says, I try to do that with coworkers and people in you. Some people think it's weird because they're not used to it. Giving compliments to women is dangerous these days, though. You're not wrong. You're 100% not wrong. But here's the thing. It's about how you do it. Because like I've had situations where I've seen somebody that had like this really cool color hair, and I'll just say, hey, look, I love the color of your hair, and I'll move on. And I've even had that, like, it didn't backfire on me, but I'll get like a weird, like, who are you and why are you talking to me kind of look. Simple compliment, move on. If they want to continue the conversation, cool. But simple compliment, move on has been my best approach for this in my experience. I've seen other people do other more long-winded things. That's more of a build-up, and that can get weird. In the workplace, you especially have to be careful because it can cause an awkwardness between coworkers. And then if you have to see that person every day, it's a balancing act. It sucks, man. Steven says, hey, Wavy Icon, I wanted to say that your community is awesome. Thanks for sharing your videos. Thank you, honestly, for hanging out, for being part of the community. I really appreciate that. Aruna says, hey, the title is Server Maintenance Hangout Chat. We did the server maintenance. Now it's Hangout Chat time. Thank you. You never know. Having this conversation might be helping some people too. Maybe. And I genuinely hope it does. I have no expectations. I have no delusions of grandeur. I'm not trying to, say I'm better than you because I don't feel like I'm better than most people. I know there's some crap people out there that I'm definitely better than, but you guys are all better than those people as well. Even if you're a crap person and you don't want to admit it, you're probably still better than some of the people that I know. So, didn't come here just for the tech part. You guys are keeping me company since I'm alone on duty at work since 5:30 and it's 9:46. That's such a long day. Good company is also welcome. That's really awesome. Gotta love the community. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for all of that. Like I said, this is very often my this is very often my social interaction for the week. Like I obviously I want to do I would love to do 2 live streams per week, but that's been difficult kind of for the last little bit for different reasons. Like I've got this week, I know I've got my Twin Gate video coming out. I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to do a live stream early in the week like I would like to with this doctor's appointment, this other video. I don't know where I'll fit it in. So the next live stream may not be until next Saturday, just because of everything going on. But I really enjoy hanging out and chatting with you guys about tech, about life, about all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Quiet Association says, I'm saying hi to people when out, especially when walking my dogs. Sometimes I get the funniest looks from people. Like you said, people aren't used to it, and especially here in Norway. You know, it's funny that you say that because, is it 2011 or 2012? Whatever that first year was, I don't remember if it was 11 or 12, but then that year and the following year, I went to Scotland, 2 separate trips. And like when I was out, like here in America anyway, it's commented like, give a little nod and a smile. And even in Scotland, I got a lot of weird looks, like mind your business. Who are you? Why are you looking at me? Why are you trying to engage with me? And it's a cultural difference. And like I've always tried to be, I say that, I generally try to be a friendly person, or at least a whatever, when I'm out in public. But some people just aren't. Some people aren't used to it. They don't want to see it. They're out to accomplish their task, nose down, on a mission, in and out as quickly as possible. And that's where they are, and that's fine. Love your videos and guides. Love from Norway. Thank you. Raylab says hello. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Any recommendation on application or self-host for synchronizing files between different machines? rclone or SyncThing are a good way to do that. Aruna says, nice timing. I'm going to KubeCon EU next week. That would be amazing. Nelson says, I would say live stream whenever you can. Even for 10 minutes to say hi is good enough. Thank you. I thought about doing just a quick, hey, how's it going kind of thing, but the impromptu stuff, the impromptu streams are difficult because my availability is often very different to the availability of most of my audience. So I've done impromptu stuff that's turned out really, really well. Crazy world where kindness is considered abnormal, right? You're 100% right with that. It makes me sad. It makes me sad that that's where we are. Mandy says I use SyncThing for that. Yep. Martin says wave at random people when driving. They'll be thinking about who that was for hours. Right? Yeah. I was headed somewhere the other day. I remember where it's irrelevant. I've always had this fascination with mini trucks. And if you're not familiar with what the term of a mini truck is, I've always loved mini trucks. And look, this is just a Chevy love because that was the first one that popped in my head because it's what I saw. I saw it on the road. It wasn't necessarily a beater, but it was old. It was used. It was a mid 70s mini truck like this that this dude had. It was a project truck. But it was also his daily driver. And I want a mini truck so bad. And I saw it and like I've got very dark tinted windows. Like they're legal, but they're still very dark. So if I'm in my car and my windows are up, you can't see me. So I was in one lane. This dude was in the left turn lane next to me. Like I rolled my windows down and like I waved at this guy and I was like, dude. And like I pointed at his truck and gave him a thumbs up and he just smiled. And it was just like, you're right, just little acts of kindness like that. They'll think about that for the rest of the day at least. And it's not a difficult thing to do. It's just like find something that you like and say, hey, I like that. I like your shoes. I like your car. I like what you've done with this. And people will usually positively respond to that. Aruna says, I live in a small village. Greetings from people you meet is the norm, which I like. Yeah. And that's just it. And I think that's part of it. Like when I was growing up all the way through high school, I lived in, well, mostly small towns. But like the high school I graduated, no. Well, the high school I graduated from had 900 people in it across 4 grades. The town I lived in was a population of less than 5,000. And that was in like 1999 when I graduated. The town I was in at that time was less than or fewer technically than 5,000 people. So I grew up with a small town mentality with a lot of regard to that stuff. Now I live in a town or a city of 750,000 people. So it's a different mindset, but when you're in a city this big, it gets broken up into boroughs or whatever you want to call it, and you rarely ever leave your little section. So your little section of this big town kind of becomes a small town feeling area, and I actually kind of dig that too. Let's see. Resilio Sync is also a good option for that. The Scots are very similar. You're building a good community, mate. Hello. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mini trucks are cool. Chevy Love looks cute. Yeah, dude. My aunt, when I was growing up, had one, and it was just one of those trucks you couldn't kill. No matter what you did, it kept running. And I always thought that was really neat. Your village is 400 people. Wow. Yeah, that's like half the size of my high school. I don't know that I've ever lived in a town that small. My wife did briefly, and it was, I wonder, hold on. It doesn't, I don't even think it actually has a population thing. Yeah, this little town that she grew up in, or that she lived in for a while, according to this right now, is only 715 people. In 2020, it was 550 or 565. So in 1999, it was probably like 300 people. So yeah, small town. Like the grocery store and the post office were the same building. So kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I thank you guys for listening to me ramble about all of that, because I feel like if we all do a little bit to just say something nice or compliment somebody out there, it'll go a long way. And I feel like there's so much of that not going on right now, because everybody's got their nose down. Nobody wants to be offensive. Nobody wants to interact. Nobody wants to do anything other than keep their head down and do their task and go home. And I'm not saying I'm not guilty of that, but I think if we can take a moment to smile at somebody, compliment somebody, acknowledge somebody out there, it can make their day better. And it's not that hard. And throat going dry on me again. So there's my TED Talk for the day. I think it seems like I have a TED Talk every week. So thank you all for putting up with that, I guess. Oh, gotcha. Let's see, where are we up here? Scroll. Wow. Okay, well, that honestly kind of surprises me a little bit. We've been at this for 3 hours now. That is bonkers. I think though, I have a question, still typing. Pixel Nomad, their first chat says, I have a question, please. Still typing. Okay. We'll answer Pixel Nomad, and I think at that point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I can feel my throat starting to give out on me a little bit, like the spot where the soft palate and the back of your throat kind of come together in that little slopey bit right behind your uvula. That's all starting to get a little itchy on me. So we're gonna answer to the best of our ability Pixel Nomad's question, because it is their first time asking a question or even chatting over on Twitch, and I don't want to discourage people from chatting, because I super appreciate people hanging out with us. So we'll give Pixel a second here and see. Radu says, yeah, I'll go to bed soon. The night is shorter. We changed to DST. And yeah, we actually just changed to DST the other day. And yeah, it's been messing with me a little bit as far as my sleep schedule and that sort of thing. Ben says, have a great rest of your weekend, sir. You do the same, man. Thank you for hanging out. If you guys aren't familiar, Snack Time Ben has his own channel that is a much calmer version of my channel. And I don't mean that in any sort of disrespect. In fact, I don't think Ben gets enough traffic on his videos. He does a very good job of explaining things, that sort of thing. So if you're looking for a much more chill version of me, go check out Snack Time over on YouTube. He does great content. And we have kind of back and forth referenced each other in videos. Oh, clock's changing an hour for Martin. Holy crap. All right. Pixel Nomad says, I wanted to build my own ESP32 voice assistants. Since I can't solder, I used a breadboard to connect everything together. It works. Hold on. I used a breadboard to connect everything together, and it works for the microphone and the amplifier, but how do I connect the speaker? You would need to connect the speaker through the amplifier. I don't know what amplifier you're using, but the amplifier should have either a 3.5 millimeter audio output, or it should have a spot to attach speakers that way. If you can share the model of the amplifier, I'm happy to take a quick look. Soldering is fun to take some practice, dude. I actually love soldering. I'm not great at it, but there's something so satisfying about like watching the solder melt, especially when you've got like a flux core solder, watching it kind of melt and puddle it in the exact right spot, having it go super shiny like liquid mirror, and then the wire or whatever sinks in, and then it solidifies and it kind of goes opaque and kind of dull. Dude, I love soldering. It's one of my most favorite hobbies that I don't do enough. Helping hands are also a plus. That's 100% true. Hold on. Oh, geez, that's fine. Get yourself, not necessarily this one, but not necessarily not this one. This has got super crazy long arms on it. But yeah, some sort of helping hands or quad hands or whatever will make soldering so much easier. If you've got a 3D printer, you can print those as well. Martin says PCB design is interesting too. I'm not smart enough for PCB design. Soldering is something I've always wanted to do but have never done. Let's see. Hold on. We had those things come in handy. Haha. Yeah, they do. Hold on. Where did it go? That's the PAM 8403. Whoa. Yeah, I did that right. All right. So let's take a look at the PAM 8503. I'm just gonna. I haven't. You guys can't see my screen. I know. I'm aware. I'm just getting there first. All right. Okay. So here, this. There are probably different versions of this. In fact, I know there are. But we're just going to take a look at this one because that's what we have here. Desktop. There we go. Okay, this is on Amazon. This is the PAM 8403 Mini 2-channel 3-watt stereo class D audio power amplifier module board, whatever, right? This is actually two of them. This is a 2-pack. So you've got your power over here, and you've got your input over here with your left and right for your positive, and then a common ground, right? I apologize for that being hard to see. So you've got your 5-volt input for power. You've got your input for your audio signal over here. And again, I know there are different versions of this. This may have through holes. It may not. I don't know. But on the other side of this particular board, you've also got a left out and a right out. So you would need some sort of a wire to plug into that. They make breadboard wires. Breadboard wire. Like these. That have these little pokey ends on them. In fact, you can see that I bought this pack before. that you could poke through there, maybe bend over or wrap around a little bit. But let's come back over here and take another look. There's a Temu option. Basically, all of them that I can see look like this. Let's look at the PDF from Mouser Electronics. Yeah, so this is very much the same thing that we just saw, but in a diagram instead. This up here is just the microcontroller that does its thing. But effectively, you're gonna have power in, you're gonna have your audio in, and then on the other side of the board, you're gonna have probably four wires or through holes or something that's gonna be your out, and that's gonna be for audio, left and right, positive and negative for each one. Yours has the built-in potentiometer. Okay, well, let's see if we can find that. That's not it. Wait, was that it? No, hold on. Let's try this with potentiometer. Let's look at it this way. This one might. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's look at this one. This is a same general idea, I think. Okay, that's not helpful. All right. Okay, so maybe it's closer to this. Okay, you're saying yes, exactly. Perfect. Okay, so right here behind the potentiometer, you've got your 3 points for input. You got left and right. It says B, but it's actually R. And then you got your common ground. You've got your power input for your 5. Hold on. So you've got your input right here on the right side behind the potentiometer, which is the B50K. That's your potentiometer. You got your power input, which is for 5 volt. You've got your amplifier chip. I said microcontroller. It's an amplifier chip. I apologize for misspeaking there. And then over here, you've got right out and left out, which is backwards depending on the way you look at it, which is even more backwards because this one's correct. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, right? But over here, you've got 4 through holes, and you can get Oh, Pixel, thank you for following. I appreciate that. So over here is you've got your 4 through holes. This is going to be your right output, and this is going to be your left output. So each speaker is going to have a positive and a negative. That's how speakers work, right? They're a motor that moves air. So you'll just put a positive and negative for one speaker on one, and a positive and a negative on one speaker for the other. Make sure that you hit your polarity correct. Because if you flip one of them, they will counteract each other and actually could do this weird thing that acts basically like noise canceling headphones. So if you reverse your polarity, make sure you do it on both of them equally, or just do positive and negative. Your speaker should have a positive and negative on it. I usually do red for positive and black for negative if I have that kind of speaker wire. But you may have to get some of those breadboard cables like we were talking about a moment ago. Whether it's this type or something else, even if it's just regular speaker wire, just regular copper speaker wire or whatever, if you can twist it up real tight and poke it through that hole and then twist it around, okay, cool. I think you're good then. That's awesome. I'm glad. I hope anyway. I hope that was helpful. It seems as though it was. So thank you for letting me help, I guess, is what I'm. So there you go. That was that. So. I think I'm gonna start wrapping this up. I'm getting tired of talking. Not that I don't enjoy talking, but like I've been talking basically nonstop for 3 hours, and that's a lot of talking. So thank you all, everybody who is here. Thank you to everybody who was here and left, and who is still here and whatever. Thank you. I appreciate hanging out with me and that sort of thing. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate the community that you're helping me build. So, again, video coming out this week, dedicated video about TwinGate. And then probably next live stream will be next Saturday, same time, same place. And I'm going to update that to have the appropriate stuff with regards to Patreon members, channel members, and Twitch subscribers. I'm going to try to balance or get all of that fixed here very, very soon. So... Oh, damn. So yeah, Pixel, I apologize for that. That's just, I didn't, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to go another 20, ads are going to run for another 15 seconds. Hold on. So anyway, thank you all. Thank you for hanging out. I had something else. I'm not going to do that. I'll just thank you. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and go. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Please check out the new video that's coming out this week about TwinGate. Even if you just let it run in the background because you're not going to use it or you've already used it or whatever, just check it out for me. It would mean a lot to me to get those numbers up. For a number of reasons. But with that said, thank you guys again so much, and I'll chat with you again here real soon.